You're on camera. Say something.
Last night and night before, there was 3 women walking down the street that way. I saw them. I said, hey, you 3 women, why are y'all walking down the street that way? There's nothing down there. And they flew away. I said, oh, them were some birds.
I'm sorry. No! Why? Why? Do you really hate me that bad?
Could be Trump. Yeah. Trump. Oh yeah. Trump. 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 Could be Trump. Yeah. Trump. Oh yeah. Trump.
In my sight, came for me, now they bite. Red suits, green cash, burn it down like the ash. Holiday flames, watch them blaze. I'm the Grinch of your last days. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Hurry up and fight!
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
the sleep. Lessons of the past on repeat. Wide awake from the sleep. Lessons of the past on repeat. Wide awake from the sleep. Lessons of the past on repeat. We rising, no holding us back. We worldwide moving as a pack on the streets to the heights. We only attack. They try to hold us down. Put your money on black. Money on black.
Merry Christmas, everybody. That's right. It's something of a holiday in Japan, I think. You celebrate it with Kentucky Fried Chicken. And here to help me understand just what we're looking at here is Miss Nerdigans.
Hi, Cider and the Black Shirt Army, and Kitty says hi too. He's being a good kitty. He tried to sneak into his kitty treats a little earlier. And if you follow me on Twitter, you saw the video of him trying to get into that. Yeah, he was a bad kitty. You were a bad kitty. But now you're a good kitty.
So way back in the early days, like, you know how they go in these archaeological digs and they'll find evidence of ancient man from like 15,000 years ago that completely rewrites history. So this is a bit like that. I don't know why my camera went off. Here we are. Anyway, hit the wrong button. But so you have this right here. Now, in the early 90s, apparently there was a singular California cable or, like transmission over the airwaves TV station that was airing subbed anime of its own volition. It was not following any national program. It itself, the studio itself, had people within it that reached out to Japan and started bringing in, subtitled anime to air and in the late night. And so this is we'll kind of like EFAP it a bit here, but this is what it looked like back in the day.
Lane, one of the most interesting, most highly stylized anime
PBS
series we have yet been able to bring you. We have been in search of this series for 2 years. We have been trying and trying and trying to convince the distributor to let us have a crack at it, but until now they were unwilling. Well, finally There was a time when people were like, no, you can't have anime. That's not allowed. There was a time. Have come through and allowed us to show this to you. And that means this is its first time ever on television in the United States of America. We are proud to be continuing that tradition here at KTEH of never seen before on American television anime series. And
that's Miyazaki calling up like, who the hell are you?
This one we think is very important because we believe it's one of the best of all the anime series we've found to date. We're really enjoying it. Hope you are as well. And we've got lots of great reasons for you to become a member of this public television station.
So you could become part of the anime club at KTEH, whatever this is, Keth, whatever it is. And it's a PBS channel. You could become an anime club member. Okay, way back in the 90s. This is ancient weebery. This is weeb history. Our weeb ancestors here. The ones that weebed before you or I ever did. But what I love is what he's about to say here.
This is simply the most unusual anime that I have ever seen. Lane, we've been trying to find it for you for 2 years. Now we have found it and have brought it to you. Once again, we want to say that normally we would bring you these anime adventures subtitled, but in this case, the only way we could get it from the distributor was dubbed. So that's what we're doing this evening.
Okay, you gotta understand, even way back in the day, the American voice actors were the scorn of the industry. Like, these people tried for 2 years to avoid using a dub, but finally the distributor won, and they're like, no, you have to use the shitty American voices. I love it.
And also, you notice the Discover card, too? That was on the screen. It's like, this was back when Discover was actually relevant.
Oh, I love that. You hear the phone call going off in the background, like, oh, there's someone calling in right now to become part of the PBS Anime Club. Thank you for supporting us as we import anime. We are the only public access TV station in America bringing you subbed and unfortunately dubbed anime. It's so crazy. Like, I don't know. When I found that the other day, just going around on the internet, it's like from some page that aggregates old stuff off of television and stuff, and it blew my mind. I was like, this is the old Begley Tepe of weeb, you know? This is way back. These were the pilgrims of weebery.
It's crazy that exists.
They desued so we could uwu.
It's very true.
Yeah, it is. It's really great. Yeah, Gobegli Teki of Weeb. Yep, it is. Exactly. Yeah. It really is. It really is. That's awesome that they did that. And the reason being is that there's nothing to gain from that at that time. Other than to have like a unique offering for kids, because again, in the US, even today, it sticks that anime is cartoons, which means it's the same as Bugs Bunny and Dexter's Laboratory, has no greater idea of itself or expression. And so that was a
that's
big
why they're
leap for
trying to
them.
get it banned too. I mean, you see it constantly. People are trying to get anime banned. It's it's the religious nut jobs, the Jesus freaks that are trying to get it banned. Because they think it's all anime, anything animated is for kids. And it's just this mindset, it just blows my mind.
Yeah, well, and again, this will be the Akira and crop circles. Yes,
Oh my
exactly.
God.
I was just thinking, like, History Channel is going to have a whole series of people that are like digging a big hole out in the desert, like where they were finding the ET cartridges. So they're like digging up all this stuff, like the Curse of Oak Island. They got that big drill machine down there, but they keep bringing up VHSs of ocean dubs. They just we tried to bury them.
That makes me think of Hunter x Hunter in Crollo's backstory when they found the Sentai tapes that they ended up dubbing over. That's what it makes me think of.
Yeah, La Blue Girl is a cartoon. Yeah, right up there with Johnny Bravo. La Blue Girl, you bet. The Curse of Anime Island. There it is. The Curse of Anime Island. Yeah, there'll be a whole History Channel. Yeah, your ancient anime theory. Perfect. Is it possible that weebs existed before the year 2002? Is it possible for a grown man to be a weeb?
Yes.
It's one of those things.
Is it possible for a cat to be a weeb? Yes, it is. It is possible for a cat to be a weeb.
Well, speaking of getting banned from places, here's streamer Johnny Somali to face more time depending on what police find after seizing his phone.
Oh, karma is such a beautiful thing.
Well, Johnny's already neck deep in this. See, the Japanese are more tolerant with the behavior of foreigners, and I have to assume that's because Americans are, a little too
Korea, though. We're
right. That's what I mean. Is that the Japanese didn't do this; the Koreans did, because the Koreans are a bit more Americanized, I think, than the Japanese are. The Japanese have retained that sort of like, oh, you're from away and you act like that. I can't judge you. You know, I get it. You know, I might make mistakes in your culture, that sort of thing. They try to find a way to compromise to avoid the conflict. Meanwhile, in Korea, a man runs full force at you and hits you in the chest for disgracing his culture. So with his feet, like just side leaps into your chest in Korea. That's how it goes.
I mean, they don't tolerate it. If you read Mama, like you see this kind of shit in Gangsta Mama. I mean, there was a Mama, I think, that got, it had the internet ablazing for using the N word, and it's really become a meme now.
Unfortunately,
I think it got banned too because of it. It got taken down off of Webtoon.
Well, and again, I mean, like, this guy, wherever he goes, is toxic. And I have a feeling because his name is in the title, we're being downplayed on every platform that we're streaming to right now. So if you guys wouldn't mind just sharing this out, because, like, I think YouTube's like, oh, there's Johnny Somali in the title. We probably better make sure nobody sees this in case they think that's imitatable. So.
Yeah, please share, because we're going to be talking about, like, stuff here that you're not going to hear anywhere else. Unless you're following me on Twitter, probably. But even then, I'm shadow banned on Twitter for some reason. I don't understand why. But yeah, it's just how it is, unfortunately.
Well, and, you know, just like this with Johnny Somali going through his fourth impact, we find out that, in fact, McDonald's will now be having Evangelion toys, and they transform out of McDonald's stuff. Remember the Transformer toys?
Yeah, I used to have all the McDonald's Transformer toys. The ones that, like the milkshake and the what was it, the hash browns that transformed, and then you had the little fries container, the little thing of fries. I think there was a chicken McNugget one that transformed. There was a Big Mac that transformed. What was the other one? There's milkshake, fries, hash browns, burger, chicken McNuggets, and there was something else too, and I can't remember.
Well, yeah, it seems to be a big hit in the chat already. Like, everybody's saying they need these things. Well, apparently you're going to have to go on to Sendico or eBay or try to hunt it down on another market there. Maybe somebody will buy a bunch of them for an sale.
Yeah, they probably will. More than likely, you'll probably find them on eBay or Macari or something. Hopefully they won't like overcharge you for them. But yeah, these things are really sick. It just really does it does really remind you of like the old McDonald's transforming toys.
Yeah, it somehow takes you back to a wholesome time, despite these child soldiers who are maimed by their time inside of these machines that are filled with the souls of their dead mothers. You know, somehow it makes you feel wholesome. Somehow, you know? Damn it, Shinji, get in the milkshake!
Shinji, get in the
So there you go.
Oh god,
we're full of it tonight. We're full of it.
God, it just reminds me of oh god, someone like had a similar comment to the blackwashed Shinji tweet that someone put up. It said like, "Damn it, Shinji, get in the robot" or something. I can't remember. But and Hasbro is doing nothing but collecting dust, dude. If the Presto was smart, they would probably be making model kits of this.
You see, Hasbro has the ability to do this crazy, make model kits out of the Transformers. Could you imagine taking the Gunpla culture and transporting that into Transformers?
That would be sick. You would probably be making big bucks.
I don't know why they won't do it. Apparently, plastic rails is kryptonite to people here in the West. I don't know. They took a poll. They're like, people, I don't know what a model is, I guess. And they're just like, okay, forget it. Here's a self-transforming transformer because we can't trust you to do it yourself.
It's ridiculous, man. But
welcome aboard. You know, nice to see you guys.
But yeah, I mean, if they were selling them for how much you want to bet, like that not only Japan's going to have them, but the rest of like Southeast Asia is going to get it too.
Of course, because this is going to be a brand deal with all of the franchises, right? So they'll be selling this. The whoever's in charge of the Evangelion brand now that the studio owns it collapsed, Gainax, I think is what Gainax. Yeah. They collapsed. Whoever owns it now, they will definitely be going to Vietnam with it because Vietnam is where a lot of the animators for the new stuff come from. So they have an attachment to it. They're going to go to China, obviously, because China loves this stuff. It's not magic. They hate magic, right? So that's why they like the robots that are evil, good angel things with the mom's soul in them because it's science, you know?
It's probably going to go to Taiwan. I could see that.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
And probably Thailand, too.
Yeah, Korea. I can't imagine that Korea wouldn't be down for this. Maybe somebody will be very kind and figure out how to float one of these up the coast to North Korea so that the kids in North Korea can learn the horror of Evangelion for themselves.
But it's just, you see like some of the stuff that McDonald's US does now, and it's just like, really? I mean, they're doing the Pokemon Go stuff, but I mean, that's Pokemon Go. Like, why not actual anime culture stuff? Like, you know that there's a bigger anime population now, like a fan population. Why not just roll with it?
Well, the thing of it is that we have to come back to that protectionism with what they're doing. Anime was not supposed to rise higher than Bugs Bunny. All the executives that allowed it in here were like, oh, that's that Pokemon thing. That's that Digimon thing. That's that Rurouni Kenshin kid with his weird backwards sword, you know? And they didn't process what that was going to do to the culture because it vastly outclasses most of what modern Western media was able to accomplish after the 2010s. And that's when anime, if you didn't notice, that's when anime floored it with the imports. And Toonami just basically became exclusively Japanese stuff from that point forward. There was no French stuff, like Code Lyoko used to be part of that. A bunch of other stuff from French and German studios used to be part of Toonami. Gone. From 2010 forward, it was all straight, right into your veins anime. No questions asked. And that's, again, because there's nothing out there to compete. What, Generator Rex, the 10th reboot of Ben 10 was going to compete with that? You know, and it's what Power Rangers ran into. because they couldn't compete with Dragon Ball Z. It couldn't compete with the other anime that was out, Ronin Warriors. It couldn't compete with it. These had the same action dynamics, team dynamics that Power Rangers did, but it didn't pull its punches and didn't remind you to brush your teeth at the end of the episode. And that's what won the battle. Just not treating kids like idiots. What do you know?
Well, too bad the West doesn't realize that you shouldn't be treating kids like idiots nowadays. Well, maybe because they are idiots from Tumblr, but
I think 7-Eleven is owned. I'm not trying to be over the top stereotypical here, but I think it's owned by Indians, to be honest with you. Like the hotels, a couple of the hotel chains are owned by Indians now.
I thought it was, I swear someone in Japan bought it, but again, I could be wrong.
It could be. Bandai may have bought it just to be able to have the rights to make model kits with 7-Eleven on them, you know? They're obsessed with that. So maybe, I don't know. But I don't think of them as reboots because the original series ended with Shinji still being stuck in his original mental state. So the planet just reset and included Ava in the timeline again. Yeah, it's a bit like Big O, I guess, with that esotericism. What is the final frontier of mankind's consciousness? And it's never really clear if the world is already over with and Shinji's sort of living out a PTSD memory throughout all of this, some compounding subconscious thing. We're not really sure if Rey actually turns into a giant angel and then splits in half and all the Tang energy drink. You know, remember Tang, the powdered drink?
Yeah.
All that Tang spills out all over the planet and that turns everybody into Tang. We're not sure that actually even happens. That's the thing. Then all of a sudden they're flying around in a giant angel carcass. And it's one of those things where you have to just ask yourself, like, Anno had a lot of ideas. And he even admitted that he just really liked the concept of Christianity. He didn't have a really clear idea of it, really liked the sound of things and the names, and he just ran with it and how obscure and scary the angels were described in the Bible. And so you got to understand, it's just such a wild mind freak sort of thing with Evangelion that every installation kind of acts like a reboot, but the reboot is supposed to happen. That's the craziest thing. It's why it's you will not, that kind of thing. Is it supposed to hint at that whole no progression? Shinji and Asuka and Rei are stuck as teenagers forever.
It's crazy.
It's terrifying, to be completely honest, because it also brings into question is that you could be living in the consciousness of the angels after they absorbed your consciousness, and Shinji's consciousness, out of all the remaining people, was the most powerful one. So he's dominating everybody else's consciousness that's been mixed together in the FTL, ETL, HT. What was it? Was it HTML? What were they all melted? The Tang? I don't remember what it was. It was definitely HTML. That's right. They were melted down into HTML.
That is a scary thought, though.
Yeah.
It's kind of
but that's what it invites, you know?
Yeah. But it's kind of like...
LCL, there it is.
It's like, this actually kind of a good transition. It's kind of like with what's happening with the story that just came out on Bounding that I did with Drama Queen. The fact that with Drama Queen, for those of you that don't know what happened, this is the first that I've ever seen. I've been covering Manga Plus exclusive series since the app's launch in 2019. But in the first chapter of Drama Queen, there is a scene where the character Namamoto, where she says she runs into a couple of aliens, and she says. The woman says that she apologizes for her partner, and after that, Namamoto is just she says that she hates women who call their boyfriends their partner. Well, yeah, and we talked about it. I think it was a couple of weeks ago when it initially happened. Well, people in the comment sections of Manga Plus got all pissy about Namamoto hating gender-neutral pronouns. Well, it turns out a couple days ago, someone noticed that that the translation changed to what? Let me have this up in front of me here. it changed from like partner to partner in crime, which I thought was very odd. But no, this one I think was the worst. It changed from just like I hate women who call their boyfriends their partner to I hate him just like I hate women who use pet names for their boyfriends. That had to be the weirdest thing of them all. And one of my industry insiders, who is actually a translator that not only knows the drama queen translator, but works for the same company, reached out to me and said that that the changes of this thing of the drama queen changes were not the decision of the translator, and that this would have been a request from the client, and they don't know who that is. They don't know if it's like Shueisha or if it was Manga Plus. They don't know. That might be another middle firm, a Japanese publisher, US branch, etc., and not from the company contracted to do the translation and typesetting. And as I said, I do work for the translation company, and a key internal guideline is that the translation must faithfully reflect the Japanese, which was true of the originally published translation. So the translations that Manga Plus has been putting out for Drama Queen thus far have been accurate. And I will say this, as I said, I've been covering Manga Plus original series since it launched in 2019. The majority of Manga Plus exclusives, I've not had any problems with their localizations. There may have been like a typo or like maybe a spelling error or something like that. Maybe in the case of Rugby Rumble, there was the issue with the AI translation. But other than like little things like that, I've never seen like woke localizations or anything like that. There's never been an issue like that, or anything like this for that matter. But anyways, they said anyway, hope this that helps trying to work out which company is specifically to blame. But let's see. And then they said and this is in terms of localization in general. There's quite a few companies translating manga, several of which end up working on the same series. One will do the initial translation, another the QA check and so forth. But I couldn't say if that's the case here. But the key point is the original translation, the one closer to the Japanese, was done in line with internal guidelines for that specific company. The change coming after publication and being against the internal guidelines in terms of faithfulness tells me the request came from outside of the company the translator / typesetter work for. At the end of the day, the client has the final say. And if the translating company speaks out against that, there's always the risk of losing the client, and no one wants to lose the client. And then this is where it got a little bit interesting about what about who changed the translation, because I asked a little bit further about it. And they said that's the thing. The change request could be from Manga Plus, or it could be from the client publishing on the service. Either way, it's troubling that such a demand would be made after publication. It doesn't look good for anyone, and it ruins the story. So like if it was happening before publication, that would be a completely different story. It'd still be very suspicious, but it's understandable that it happens before publication. But considering the backlash that Drama Queen has gotten from a minority of people, a toxic minority of people, it's kind of odd. And then they suggested that, to reach out to the author through whichever public channels they have, politely making them aware of the change in how it's damaging the story. And can't say it will get the changes reverted, but at least they be made aware a part of their audience is not getting what the author wrote. And then I asked them about that. I asked them about the whiny, mofos in the Manga Plus comment section on Reddit, and because some of these people were going off on Manga Plus's Twitter account too. And I asked them about it, and they said I couldn't say one way or the other if they had any influence on this with any certainty. But in this day and age, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened. The question is, has it happened before? And I said, no, this has never happened before. And I guess then someone at a publisher or Manga Plus saw the drama doing rounds, like in pieces on Screen Rant, etc., and panicked. The company doing the translation would have the power to force such a change after publication.
Right.
And then there was a tweet from Manga Maguro Re that was making the rounds. And they were saying that as an excuse for this change, that people misunderstood it in English as the author taking a jab at inclusive LGBT language, and that's probably why it was changed now. I asked my insider about this, and this is what they said. And in my video about this, I actually said something similar to this. Is this thing is even straight people refer to their partner as partner at times, so the whole thing is stupid. And it all boils down to the usual crowd looking for something to be offended by. And as usual, someone made the decision to appease them. The result is a rush fix that makes even less sense, and people get a worse overall experience, thanks to people who were never going to read the work anyway. Exactly. These people were either these people that were in the comment section for Manga Plus on Reddit or on Twitter, and probably on TikTok as well. They were either never going to read it, they either never going to read it or have never read it, or just straight up dropping it. They got their information from memes or whatnot. That's just how it usually is, and it's very frustrating dealing with these tourists. And then they said this: I don't agree with the original translation being flawed or that partner was misleading. Even dictionaries use it with the meaning of a romantic partner. Given time, a better alternative may have been found, but for things like this, translators generally only have a few days, which isn't enough time to put in such consideration. And that's what my insider said about this whole thing. And the fact that people are saying, oh, it's localizer, woke localizer, woke localizer this, woke localizer that. In this case, it is not. It's something bigger than that. It is above the localizer in this case. And I figured something told me that that was probably the case, since this is post-publication. If this was pre-publication, and if this was something like on Viz, which we did a story about with Sid Croft. Yeah, I could be like, yeah, I could see this being a woke localizer situation. But considering the service we're talking about a Manga Plus exclusive, where localizations are usually accurate. We don't see this type of stuff there. And this is happening post-publication. And we just saw like all this backlash towards this series for the dumbest things. That's where I'm like, okay, yeah, there's got to be something else going on here. And my insider kind of proved the point that this is not the localizer's fault. Well, to an extent, it's not the localizer's fault. It's something bigger going on. We just don't know who gave the order.
Well, and you're probably going to see more of it, because this has now attracted the attention of those people that got what they wanted, and now that they've been satiated, they're going to want more. It never stops. It's not just once. So.
And like the thing is, we talked about it a couple weeks ago when the series came out. They're pissed off that this is like the most offensive series ever, where there's xenophobia, racism. In this case, the character hates gender neutral pronouns. I'm like, dude, this is like kids stuff compared to some of the other series that Manga Plus has on the platform. There's Ryota killed his brother, for example, where you have a demon child like straight up like attaching to his brother with oh my god, straight up attaching to himself with a cord. It's just so disturbing. And you see him like eat his brother, who literally committed suicide, and revive him. It is disturbing as hell. You want to talk about disturbing series? Go read that and then tell me that Drama Queen is the most disturbing thing you've read on the platform. Nah, there's way more. Even Tokyo Underworld, which is ending this week, and I interviewed the author. That series is way more disturbing than this. So it just shows you that these people are tourists. They're lightweights, and it sucks that manga has gone mainstream, and these people should not be in the community.
Right.
And they're media illiterate too.
Now, Spencer's asking, Underworld is already ending?
Yeah, Tokyo Underworld's having it's a natural ending. It's ending like perfectly. Based on, because I covered the chapter last week, it is ending beautifully. It's a natural ending for sure. It didn't get, I don't think it got axed based on how the final arc has gone. It's been really, really good. I'm worried about Sherry's Love is 8 Meters Tall, which is ending this weekend as well. I have to catch up with it and cover the ending this week. I'm sad that manga's ending. That manga's really good too. But anyways, speaking of Jump manga, we got Jumpfesta this weekend.
Yep.
I'm really looking forward to Jumpfesta. There's I did a video covering Jumpfesta earlier today on my channel. And unlike the majority of people, I actually converted the times to Eastern and Pacific Standard Times. So we'll be able to give you an exact time for when all these panels are going to be. I don't know why the rest of the Western media is not doing it. It's very annoying, but I did it. There's a lot of great panels this year. Some of the scheduling is a little bit questionable. I don't know why. Like, for example, we'll talk about it in a little bit, where some of the stuff that's in Jump Studio is not in the red stage. It makes no sense, but it is what it is. But we're going to start with Shonen Jump Plus's 10th anniversary. It's so excited for it. The first day, there really isn't much going on for there. It's just mainly recaps. Maybe like the only notable thing to come out of there for the first day, which is on December 20th. It says December 21st, but that's Japan. In the US, it's December 20th is when Jumpfesta starts. The only notable one I would say for December 20th is for the Jump Plus 10th anniversary is maybe the Hell's Paradise Shigakuraku panel, which is at midnight Eastern Standard Time and 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
I have the wrong one.
Are you on the Jump Plus 10th anniversary?
I don't know. I can't tell. I don't read Japanese.
No, you're on the Jump Studio one. That's the wrong one.
Oh, okay. I got red. I got blue. I got Prince of Tennis.
That's the wrong one. That's Jump Studio.
Okay.
You need Jump Plus 10th anniversary.
Okay, I'll try and find it.
Just go to the menu.
It's the website is I have to apparently reach all the way around the world in order to access this, and it is
it's being slow.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, that's it. So just for that, just go to day 2 primarily. Just click the you and I are polar opposites. But for the Hell's Paradise Shigakuraku, I'm just briefly gonna talk about for a second. That one, I'm the only thing I could think of that's gonna come out for that one is maybe a trailer for season 2, but I'm not sure. But the main event is day 2, because starting at let's see, 10:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7:50 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we get the new anime announcements. And some of them have already been announced, like You and I Are Polar Opposites, and Kindergarten Wars was already announced. But the one that hasn't been announced yet, and it should be for sure announced at Jumpfesta because it's in this batch, is Marriage Toxin. And Marriage Toxin, if you have not read it, you should. It is a Manga Plus exclusive series. And all these series that I am mentioning, Kindergarten Wars, You and I Are Polar Opposites, which literally just finished earlier this month, and it's an adorable rom-com, and Marriage Toxin are all Manga Plus exclusive series. So you will not find them at all on like the Viz Shonen Jump app. I mean, Viz does have the physical releases for Marriage Toxin and You and I Are Polar Opposites. I don't think they have it the license for Kindergarten Wars yet, but it is what it is. But at Jumpfesta, they should be revealing like full trailers. Hopefully reveal full trailers, and hopefully we'll get studio announcements and all that, and maybe some maybe the staff, and then the other one I'm really looking forward to, and I called this the moment I saw it, was Takapi's Original Sin. which is going to be at 1:10 a.m. Eastern Standard
Okay,
Time.
hold on.
Uh-huh.
We need to say that a little slower because I already read it wrong and I've heard it wrong out of as you say it. So it's
It's
Takopi.
Takopi.
Takopi, not Togepi.
No,
Because I read
Taco.
Togepi's Original Sin and I was
No,
like,
no.
what?
It's Takopi's Original Sin.
I want to see Togepi's Original Sin now.
No.
What did Togepi do? Is he on the run? Is he some terrible criminal and he's just pretending to be a baby Pokemon?
No,
Togepi! They'll never know.
Well, Togepi in Pokemon Adventures does a lot of insane shit. But Takopi's Original Sin is one of the most depressing and most disturbing series you will ever read. I mean, I covered it from start to finish. It's very therapeutic if you've ever experienced like childhood trauma, like abuse and whatnot. It is very therapeutic, but with the snowflakes in the West, they're not going to be able to handle it at all. They will not. They will like say, because there is literally child abuse, there's alcoholism going on, there's obviously murder, and there's prostitution. It's really, really fucked up. I'm not surprised it's getting an anime, to be honest, because of how well the manga sold. There's only 2 volumes of this manga. It's a very short series.
Well, you know, that Dan to Dan episode aired where the mother died, and that left a lot of people beside themselves. So yeah, this will probably fit right in there.
Yeah, but these are little girls getting beat the fuck up. So like I'm talking literally getting like punched and hit, and you're seeing bruises on their faces. It's really messed up. There's some hardcore bullying going on in there. It's really, really, really sad. And then the last one here that of course I got to mention is at 2:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11:20 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and that's Madosehi No Slave. And with Madosehi No Slave, you are getting a new trailer, and we're going to get more info on the second season, because the second season, they have a studio change, and I believe there is a director change as well. So there's going to be more info for Madosehi No Slave season 2. For Jump Studio, which was the one you were on before, with me and Roboco on there. Yeah, that's the one. So the main ones from Jump Studio, like at 10, the first one, which is at 10:20 p.m. Eastern, 7:20 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. For me and Roboco, there's going to be new info on the upcoming movie that was delayed. I'm really looking forward to that because I love me and Roboco. I've been covering it since chapter 1, and if you are a South Park fan, you will love me and Roboco. It is so freaking stupid. I love it so much. And then and this is December 20th, whereas the stuff we just talked about for the Jump Plus 10th anniversary, that is on December 21st. So at 11:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8:40 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is Undead Luck, and there's going to be information on the upcoming anime special at that panel. I don't know if for sure after the anime special if there's going to be a season 2 or not. We'll have to wait and see for if there will be. But I know I will tell you this right now in terms of the manga is definitely ending really, really soon. I mean, I've been covering the manga since chapter 1. I could tell you that right now. That final arc is just a clusterfuck, unfortunately. I think the manga is probably going to end, I want to say by either at the end of January or maybe like mid-February it will probably end. There's not that many chapters left for it. And then at 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is Dr. Stone. And for Dr. Stone and for Undead Unluck and Dr. Stone, I'm really surprised it's on the red stage. I'm so surprised it's not. But for Dr. Stone, we're getting info on the final season. And the final season is going to be in 3 parts, which I'm very surprised that Demon Slayer is not going to be in 3 parts. In all reality, it's really bizarre considering from what my Aniplex insider told me that their main cash cows are the Fate series and Demon Slayer. Those are their 2 main IPs. So it's bizarre they didn't do this, but we'll get to Demon Slayer a little bit later. But yeah, that's going to be the main thing for Dr. Stone. But I do want to mention this because this is the main thing from December 21st. That is that's the main panel. Because I will get shit if I don't mention it. Is 1 a.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. There's an Akane Banashi panel. Now, we had a similar panel to this last year, and everyone thought there was going to be an anime announcement. And no, we got trolled last year. And the panel, from what I read in the description, it seems like it's basically the same. So I would not expect an anime announcement. I'm hoping we will still get one, but I wouldn't expect it. But now Sire switch to blue.
As soon as I find it, you betcha. There it is.
Okay. So for blue, blue starts for December 20th at 9:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:40 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is for Demon Slayer, and Demon Slayer is going to be about the Infinity Castle movie trilogy that got announced not too long ago. So that's going to be where all that info is going to be at. And then after that, at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're finally going to get new information about the Witch Watch anime, which I'm really excited for. I covered the Witch Watch anime for Bounding, and the mangaka said he's going to be heavily involved in its production. So I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what we're going to get from it. And it said in the description there's going to be a special guest, so I'm very curious if the mangaka is going to show up or not.
Probably.
I kind of hope so. But the next one would be Sakamoto Days, which is at 12:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9:20 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So Sakamoto Days, it's basically going to be like additional information on the anime that's starting next month. I don't know if it's going to be anything new or like basically all the stuff we've gotten recently. I'm hoping it's going to be new. But from what I've heard through the grapevine, it's going to adapt up to chapter 57 of the manga. That's what I've heard. Okay. But we'll see. But if besides, of course, Witch Watch, the other panel I would definitely watch on the blue stage, because I watched the Gintama panel last year. Go watch the Gintama panel. Even though I'm hoping there's going to be at least some subtitles, but we're probably going to have fan translators. Rely on fan translators again this year. But this is that.
I just want to say we have a question in the chat, though.
What's the question?
Sakura Mita would like to know, is it too early for an anime adaptation? And I'm thinking that's about Sakamoto Days. Maybe it's about
which anime,
Witch Watch?
Series? Which series are you talking about? Because if it's for Witch Watch, it's the perfect time. Witch Watch is fine. Most of these series that are getting anime adaptations right now, like Sakamoto Days is perfect timing. If you're talking about like Marriage Toxin, it's fine. Takabi's Original Sin already finished like a long time ago, so that one's a totally different story. Kindergarten Wars has plenty of chapters. Kindergarten Wars is about to hit chapter 100. It had its 99th chapter today, and You and I Are Polar Opposites literally just ended. So there's plenty of content there. Okay.
So Gintama?
Gintama. Okay, let me get to Gintama. So Gintama, we're getting the Three Nen Zigumi Genpachi Sensei trailer. We're getting a new trailer and additional info for the movie, which I'm really excited for. And last year at the Gintama trailer, Sriracha Sensei was there, or had like multiple messages, and they were so funny. Sriracha was roasting the cast, and even had a little tidbit, was roasting the audience a little bit too, if I remember correctly. It was so funny. Oh my god, Sriracha! I'm telling you, if you want to watch only one panel, the Gintama panel is so worth watching. It is great. I loved the Gintama panel. If you can find last year's panel, and hopefully there's subtitles on there, go watch it. You will totally have a good time watching it. And then the final panel for the first day, technically it's December 21st at the time though. And this is at 3. I feel so bad for you guys on the East Coast because you guys stay up till 3 a.m. It's at 3 a.m. Eastern time, and it's midnight on the West Coast, is Dan. And for Dan, they're going to have anime info. So I'm guessing it's going to be for the second season of the anime. And then the next one here, like for the start of day 2, which would be 9:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:40 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, is Bleach. And for Bleach, I really want to get Core 4 info, but because Core 3 is ending on the 28th, I don't think we're going to get any Core 4 info. I would like at least a release date or something, but I don't think, or I know we're not going to get a trailer. There's no way. As much as I would like it, there's no way we're getting a trailer until after Core 3 ends on the 28th.
Well, we do have a question from the chat. Richard's here, and he asks, he says here is that part of me is saying that I don't know what a lot of this is about. Could you give me what's worth checking out from this year?
Oh, what's worth checking out this year? Depends on what you're into. If you're into action series, I would say obviously Sakamoto Days is worth it. Gintama.
Haikyuu.
Haikyuu. Well, Haikyuu, they're only just doing a recap of the dumpster battle. So, but the stuff I'm talking about is mainly pertaining to like new anime info. But if you're into like well, obviously you should probably be up to date with Demon Slayer. If you are interested in Demon Slayer. But like the majority of stuff that I'm talking about are brand new series that are getting brand new anime adaptations. So like Witch Watch's anime is brand new. Sakamoto Days anime is about to start. The stuff that I mentioned in the Jump plus 10th anniversary, those are all new anime announcements minus Madosehi No Slave. It all just depends on what kind of anime you like. Like if you like action, Marriage Toxin is really good. It's a really good action series. Kindergarten Wars is a really fun action series too. It just all depends. Any horror adult anime?
Well, we got that Togepi's Original Sin would probably qualify as a horror.
Togepi's Original Sin is definitely like horror for sure. And Madosehi No Slave, Madosehi No Slave is definitely horror. Because of, the different demons and stuff that they're fighting. So I would definitely say that would be qualify as horror. And it's definitely adult. Dan is an adult, is more on the adult side as well, and there is a lot more horror there as well. I would say Sakamoto Days is more family than anything else. Let's see, I'm trying to think out of the other ones that are left. Chainsaw Man, we'll get to Chainsaw Man and Kaiju in a minute. But yeah, those two I would say are also more on the horror side of things as well, and more on the adult side of things too. But yeah, there's really a good. They do replay the panels on YouTube. I think what they do, if I remember correctly, you have to wait a little bit before. If you wait, like I want to say, I'm trying to remember if you have to wait like a few days or something. They will put subtitles in. So if you don't want to watch it live, I like watching it live because I like talking to Japanese fans, and I like talking with the and having the translators. That experience is just fun for me. But if you want to wait a little bit longer and have subtitles, the the Shonen Jump channel will put subtitles in, and you could wait like a couple of if you just don't mind waiting like a couple of days, they'll have that available with the subtitles. I don't know if they do that on Twitter or not, but I know they do it on YouTube for sure. But speaking of YouTube, I think if I didn't mention it earlier, something that's really weird this year is usually on YouTube they have and we'll get back to like the rest of Blue and Red in a second. Something that's weird on YouTube is usually they have like a separate YouTube live stream for like just English watchers or English viewers. So it's usually like it's a really crappy dub, but yeah, they have like an English dub kind of thing. And this year on the Shonen Jump channel, I looked and it's not there. So I don't know what's going on, if they're going to just have subtitles or what. For like I think it's for Red they usually only do it for. Yeah, it's usually for Red they only do it for. But I don't see that this year. So I don't know if there's just going to be, if they're not going to have it at all, or if they're going to have subtitles available. But if they do have it, if they don't have it at all, I'm kind of torn on how I'm going to feel about that. Because it's good because it will maybe drive away all the annoying toxic people that go in those chat rooms. I really can't stand them. They drive me nuts.
They're not going anywhere. Those are roaches. They're never leaving.
But yeah, when every time they try and go into the other studio chats, like they get driven away by the Japanese viewers, and also because there's no subtitles and they don't understand Japanese, so they just go away. They get
Gundam
filtered.
did that a couple of weeks ago. They had some lady on there that I guess didn't want to deal with English speakers, so the presentation before her had subtitles, and all of a sudden they shut them off and they came back on after she was done. I was like,
that's why I'm like, I have to wonder if that's what Shueisha's doing.
Yeah, it feels like it. I mean, I watch I watch a channel called Mr. Japan. He's in his mid-30s, and he's explaining that a lot of people are giving up on English over there in Japan because we've just made our culture so incompatible with theirs. So they don't want anything to do with us. Who wants to go learn a language of somebody that's completely adversarial to your way of life?
Yeah. But in terms of I do want to mention there's a couple on Blue that I didn't mention, but like I feel like they're not as important as the ones on Red that I need to mention before everyone else jumps in. Is that there's Jujutsu Kaisen and Spy Family and stuff like that, but the one that I think is really important that needs to be mentioned is it would technically be on December 21st. It's at 3:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12:10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and that's Dragon Ball. That Dragon Ball panel has everyone hyped because Akio is going to be there, as well as the V-Jump editor is going to be there. It says in the description that it's mainly going to be about like Daima behind the scenes and all that. People are thinking that there's going to be a movie announcement, but based on what I've been hearing, I don't think that's going to be the case. I'd love to get news about the Dragon Ball manga, but I don't know if that's going to be the case either. So
I'm not gonna say that they're gonna do anything other than more than Daima, because Daima's been a massive success, and I don't think they want to take the wind out of that just yet. I think they're perfectly comfortable waiting. Well, here's Spencer. I think they're perfectly comfortable waiting for Daima to like run its course, then make a movie announcement, because I think Daima really, really surprised them. They knew it was going to be a hit, but I don't think they expected it to just sweep.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah.
Like, there's people calling for a complete reanimation of Dragon Ball all the way back up through. Even GT's got a group of people that want to see it reanimated, okay? So they're looking at that like drooling, like, we don't have to come up with new content? You guys will just watch the old thing? We just boost the old audio, make it sound new? Really? You won't even ask us to like make it widescreen?
I mean, look at. I mean, and even if they wanted to like do a full reboot thing, like I can see them doing it because even One Piece is being rebooted, even though the series isn't even over yet.
Right.
Well, not
So
rebooted,
bizarre.
but another anime, I guess, whatever you want to call
Well,
it. But it's still
Netflix
there.
demanded one that was more
Yeah.
American centric. You know, they were demanding it. But
Well, they
I'm
kind of
really
are- well,
glad.
they are kind of doing a reboot technically or remaster kind of thing while the One Piece anime is well, the One
Bye,
Piece
Spencer.
anime waits for the manga to move forward a little bit, you know. So you're kind of getting a little bit of a remaster right now.
Mm.
But there's a couple of other things I do want to mention here before, of course, Jacob gets here. Is that there's the
You can mention it even if he is here. This is your show right now, Nerd Again.
Yay! So like at 10:10 p.m. Eastern, 7:10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and this is on December 21st. There's the Chainsaw Man panel, and from what I've been hearing through the grapevine is that the Chainsaw Man Rize movie is supposed to be getting some love, or supposed to finally be getting info on it. If that is the case,
Has that been announced, or is that something that's just rumored? Because I feel like I haven't heard anything about that.
That's what I've been hearing rumor wise, but like on the on the description of the panel, they said that it's going to be like a jam packed special stage. So I'm hoping if that is the case, then we'll probably get news of like who the director is, because remember, we don't know who's directing this yet, because the original
we don't know anything. They
don't
just
anything.
said it was like, hi, here, bye.
Yeah, so if anything, that will be what gets announced. If anything happens with Rize, manga wise for Chainsaw Man, I don't think we'll probably get anything new unless a third part is going to get announced.
I was going to say probably maybe like a color illustration. Like he might draw like a nice thing for Jumpfest, but like I don't know what you could announce off of this.
Yeah, like if there's a third part, which I think there will be for Chainsaw Man.
You think?
I think so. It'll be like right before Denji goes to hell. That's where the second part will end, and then the third part will be Denji.
We'll see. I could believe it. I don't have a read on it, so I was just wondering like what were your thoughts. So
that's my guess. And then
it's the best guess we can get. It's you.
And then at 1:30 a.m. Eastern, 10:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we're going to get new info on Kaiju number 8's anime. So that should be good. So probably like new casting announcements and maybe a trailer, hopefully. And then the final panel of Jumpfesta is really, really important. And this is at 3:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12:10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it's the One Piece panel because we're going to get the new Frankie voice actor announcement. Because for those of you who don't know, the current Frankie voice actor, he announced that he was retiring due to his health. He's been having health issues for a while.
The guy looks like Brooke. Let's just put it that way. Like he legitimately just looks like he is Brooke, like skeletal.
He is not doing very well. So he announced earlier this month that he's like, yeah, I'm going to retire and I'm going to announce my successor at Jumpfesta. So the One Piece panel is going to be really, really interesting this year.
Yep. So that's there you go. What's going on at Jumpfesta?
There's a lot of good stuff at Jumpfesta.
And of course, you're going to be covering it on your channel, right? So people should go subscribe to you.
Yeah, I already have like a full preview of Jumpfesta. I did that earlier today. That's how I have like all the times converted from Japanese Standard Time to Eastern and Pacific Standard Time. So yeah, I did a video for that earlier.
Cool.
But Spencer, I know you're looking forward to Marriage Toxin. That anime announcement.
Yeah, no, that'll be really cool. I really liked that series when you introduced me to it. I'm definitely interested. I don't think anything big is going to come out of that One Piece panel. Or I mean, obviously like the Frankie voice actor, but I don't think we're going to get like a new project or anything.
No, I think it's just going to be the Frankie.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like the Frankie thing. And then maybe we'll get some like, maybe there will be like a teaser trailer for season 2 of the live action one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't see any like, here's movie 13 or whatever we're on at this point, right? Like, or a new video game. I don't see that. The Dragon Ball one, that one's going to be really interesting because I'm pretty much like Cider said what I would say, which is obviously Daima's sweeping, but if they wanted to be smart about it, they wait until Daima's like 2 episodes away from ending. And then they go, guess what? Here's your next thing. So then you kind of just keep on the Dragon Ball train. But I mean, anything could happen. So maybe we'll see something. I don't expect anything super related, like the manga related. I don't see that happening at all.
No. Oh, before speaking of Dragon Ball, Stephanie Nadoli did confirm that she is going to be voicing Goku Mini in the video games. So we do have that confirmation.
Whenever they start coming out again after Sparking Zero.
Oh, even for the DLC for Sparking Zero.
Oh, nice. So perfect. She's already back in the saddle.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's going to be the case for the other, for Kid Goku or anything else, but we know for sure Goku Mini is going to be voiced by her.
Have you checked out the dub? I think there's like one episode of the dub out right now.
No, the dub's not out until January.
January, that's right. I don't know why. I feel like I've done this like 3 weeks in a row. I always think it's like December 10th, and I don't know why. I have no reason for it.
I know, but yeah, I'm really liking Daima a lot. That lore that we got though about how the universe was created was so interesting.
It's interesting, but I think like I wouldn't say it's a problem per se, Nerdigans, but like I'm a little tired, and this is not Dragon Ball's fault per se, but I'm so tired of, oh, we're gonna go and rewrite all of the origins of the universe that you guys already knew, and it's gonna be all new, and nobody ever mentioned it before, right? Like they do that in movies and video games and TV shows. So it's like, just stop changing everything. Just play with the cards you've already been dealt. You don't need to bring in like 7 extra decks of power-ups or whatever. But that aside, playing the hand that we're dealt, I'm having a good time with it. I still don't really care about the demons, right? Like they come up and I'm just like, okay, you guys are there, but it's still a fun adventure. I'm still loving hanging out with Goku. All that stuff is great.
The Tamagamis are awesome. I love their designs. And like when I see like certain frames of the Tamagamis, I'm like, Toei, that is merch right there. You could stop that frame, put that on like shirts, posters, sweatshirts, like that's money right there. Like even the background's beautiful.
Let me run this by you, Nerdigans, because let me first say, yes, I love the Tagami, or Tamagami. They look cool. I can't wait till they actually show up and do something. And
we did see Majin Ku get his ass whooped by Tamagami 1, which was amazing.
We saw him, but then I want to see him go up against Goku, obviously, which we will. I know that's coming, obviously.
Yeah.
But let me run this by you. How does this make you feel about the speculation that this is sort of canonizing GT?
I don't think it's canonizing GT. It's canonizing Super.
Not canonizing GT per se, but bringing, making their own distinct version of GT that can be canon. Because we got the kids being shrunk down kind of by an accidental wish. You have the new set of Dragon Balls, and then you have the Tamagami, who are the protectors of the Demon Realm Dragon Balls. And I'm like, those are just the Shenrons. I mean, it's different because the Shenrons come from the Dark Star Dragon Ball energy. Yeah. But I'm like, same sort of thing. What are you guys doing here? I see you. You got to do more than change your name on the homework.
Well, I've been saying from the start that this was kind of giving like Toriyama's take on Super Dragon Ball Heroes and GT. It was like a mixture of that.
Yeah, and definitely.
That's what it's giving.
Where do you get the heroes from?
Because Arinsu and Glorio kind of give like Atoa and Mirio and and Heart kind of thing.
Yeah, it links through all the Demon Realm stuff. You're right. I totally
Yeah, you see what I mean? It does.
Yeah, I do.
But man, the Demon Realm though, I say it in my Patreon live reactions every week. The Demon Realm just looks so beautiful. Like that's probably the best thing about Daima is the Demon Realm, how gorgeous it looks. They did a beautiful job on it.
Oh yeah, I cannot talk smack at all on the way the Demon Dimension looks. It looks epic, honestly, is like probably the best way I can put it. Like it looks like a landscape of things. Like I would go on an adventure in that realm, right? Like I would go in Elden Ring style. But again, I still just don't care about the demons.
Well,
so I'm like, you guys have a really cool house. I don't really care about
I mean, like a lot of people are saying that this is very much giving like a JRPG style adventure, and they see like the Dragon Quest realness going on in Daima as well. And you
I can see that.
And Herms has posted like little Easter eggs, Dragon Quest Easter eggs. I'm like, oh yeah, I totally see it. I see like Toriyama like made this his love child of like everything, of all the works that he's done from like Dragon Ball and Dragon Quest and stuff, and just put it here together.
That makes me like slightly depressed because it gives me the same vibe. You know, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but like 3 months before David Bowie passed, he put out the album Black Star.
Yeah.
And the main track is this like self-reflective song about like having lived life. And the music video he put out was him in like a hospital bed, sort of like struggling and clinging to life. And then he passes like near immediately after that. And so it's like, that's what I get from this now, Nerdigans, is like Toriyama knew he might not be long for this world. So he's like, I'm finally going to give everything some love. Like maybe we'll probably get like Oreo-chan in the very last episode of Daima at some point, right?
Well, I mean, where Sandland's got an anime, you can bet that there's going to be a little bit of Dragon Ball leaking in there. So,
well, yeah, people have brought up that there's a little bit of Sandland up in here or up in Daima too. Like they see the Sandland influence as well. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I could see it. I could see, and people have said Toriyama really put his heart and soul into Daima, and you could see it compared to like something like GT where he barely had any involvement in it.
Input, yeah.
Well, with that being said, I do want to talk about a mangaka that gives me a lot of hope, and this is Yasuhiro Manabu. And if you're not familiar with this guy, he is the creator of Tank Chair. You remember that joke we've been making about having the adventurer that's in the dungeon, he's stuck in a wheelchair, you know? Well, Yashiro decided, hold my beer, you know, hold my sake. And he decided to make that the most badass thing to come out of Japanese manga, in my opinion, this year. And this exploded onto the scene. It came immediately to the West. It's been immediately gobbled up. Yes, it is. It's very brutal. It's very gory. It's very like right in your face. This paralyzed man has lost his sense of humanity due to what's happened to him to put him in the wheelchair. That's a bit of a mystery. And he just goes around like murder Batmaning people in a wheelchair.
Got like a Jason style Kamen Rider mask. That's incredible.
Right. It's absolutely menacing, and he absolutely plays it up to the max. And people always underestimate the wheelchair, and they get their face ground off by the wheels. It's very, very, very vivid. Don't mistake my tone. It's very vivid.
That's so realistic. Why isn't that in Dungeons and Dragons, right? There should be wheelchair accessible ramps in all of the demon realm, like lords.
Well, that's just it. Is he has like all these Batman gadgets that are like, oh, you think you're just gonna? They taunt him being up on stairs, and he's at him. He's flying at him, you know. But he did a big O piece, and that reminded me that this guy isn't like all up in his own stuff. And it's why it gives me hope about what he is that he's not obsessed with his own creations to the point where he won't acknowledge or even celebrate others. And so, and also he does this very, very beautiful piece of the Big O. So it's quite obvious that he cares very much about this mecha anime that really couldn't be further from what he's working on with Tank Chair. So it really gives me hope for the future of mangaka coming up and globally distributed, that they are more than just their products, much like Mr. Toriyama was more than his products.
Yeah.
Oh, before I forget, you guys saw the God Gundams kits that are coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
And oh yeah, there's God Gundam and Gold God Gundam that Banpresto is releasing. So now that they're releasing more G Gundams, do you think that we're going to get Tequila Gundam?
No.
Cider's absolutely right. We'll never get it because somebody will cry offense.
It's too beautiful. No, it's too beautiful. God ordained it. All right, God. There shall never be a Tequila Gundam.
Yeah. Man could not capture the essence of Tequila Gundam.
Right, exactly.
God Gundam is there. There's God and Gold God Gundam.
Right, but God and Gold Gundam. God and Gold Gundam don't attempt to encapsulate an entire culture and nation of people as an odd mishmash of a drunken fisherman. Okay, I
love this so much because I just read an interview, I think like yesterday or the day before, with the directorial team behind G Gundam.
Yes.
Yeah, and they actually said, which I was surprised at because I didn't think, just from the fact that they did it, I didn't think they would be this concerned. They were like, yeah, when we designed all those Gundams, we were really not like scared, but like we had the thought of, oh, people might get mad that these are stereotypes. And then it came out and they were like, oh, and everybody loved it. Nobody cared.
Loved it.
And I'm like,
they wanted more.
That's what we need to realize. Like we love stereotypical depictions of that stuff. Like everybody does. Go to a Mexican party with a sombrero, they'll love you.
Well, I mean, Goku's there serving tacos. He's like a mascot for like 60% of the food in South America. But Tequila Gundam,
it's your equivalent of the Michelin star. You know, like what level of Super Saiyan Goku is painted on your wall? Super Saiyan 1, like 4, blue. Oh, blue. This is a 3-star. We've got to eat here.
one of the coolest things about Tequila Gundam is that as you're reading through the interview, you find out that Tomino got involved, and he's making a ninja.
So surprising.
Right, because we always hear that everybody hated G Gundam, but apparently everybody was in love with it.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, they always told us they hated it.
Like from what because with my interactions through Latin American Twitter, is that they would love having a Tequila Gundam model kit. They would love it. Because they like representation. And the people that bitch, it's like, this is offensive. And then they, at the same time, they're like, oh, representation. We need representation. It's like, bro, that's representation. You're robbing people of representation right now.
And notice how it always has to take like an essay for them to go like, no, let me convince you that you're being offensive, right? Even though you get like you've seen them do it to like Mexican people, be like, no, you silly brown person. Let me tell you why you should be offended by this, right? It happens all the time. I mean, there's that comic of the like, yeah, the fat like white chick like slapping her hand over the black lady's mouth, like, you poor minority, I will save you from this plight. It's that every time. Whereas, yeah, the Latin American audience, they want that bad.
I mean, they love Speedy Gonzalez, and like people, you have the white people saying, "Oh, Speedy Gonzalez is offensive." It's like, no, they like Speedy Gonzalez. They love
Speedy Gonzalez.
Well, that's just it.
I saw him when I was out at that wedding like a month or two ago. On the hotel TV was Cartoon Network, and I was watching it while getting ready, and they had like what's it called, like the Looney Tunes show, whatever that new one is.
Yeah.
And they had Speedy, and he was talking with like his normal accent, and I genuinely was taken aback. I was like, I can't believe we actually got that back. Like, this is so crazy that I'm seeing that on TV in 2024.
Well, and that's just kind of where it's at. You know, we had I never understand the representation thing. Well, representation, it's not about representation, it's about superiority. And that's why they won't tolerate having just having a character there. The character has to either be leading or the most dominant or the coolest or whatever. It's like you're playing a game with the annoying kid in the neighborhood that always has to have the most powerful invisible sword, you know? And that, and there's no winning against him. He's always the greatest.
My armor is super armor.
Well, and see, you got Bowsette here and says Tequila Gundam is the same as Latinx for me, pointless and stupid. What's next? Evas with Sarapes. Well, that was the point of Tequila Gundam.
Yeah.
And of course, as you know, with the G Gundam series, the only one that really didn't get it was God Gundam, and what was the other one that didn't really get decorated up a lot? Rain Gundam.
Oh yeah,
didn't
Rain.
Get,
like, yeah.
Well, God and Shining are kind of the same thing, but the Neo Japan's Gundams didn't get Japanized. They were just like regular Gundams with a couple of accessories that helped punching, and that was about it. It didn't get like Neo Holland. That was a fucking windmill, you know. And they made multiple of those motherfuckers, by the way. There were like 10 of them.
Oh my god!
I was waiting for like Neo Spain's Gundam. What is it?
Gundam Quixote?
Yeah, Gundam Quixote. Yeah, Gundam Quixote, and that's all he does is chase the windmill Gundams around.
That. Instead of actually participating in the Gundam fight, he just goes wherever the windmill Gundam is. And
that's the Schwartz Brooder. Right, that would be a funny manga where like that character is a Don Quixote character that has to lead Neo Holland Gundam into being like the savior of humanity. It's like a weird twist of event.
That sounds like a humorous like isekai take on G Gundam. Like I was a mysterious G Gundam fighter, and now I'm the hero of Spain or something like that.
No, very simple, very simple. I was a Gunpla builder, and I got isekai'd into G Gundam.
Yes. Oh god, even better. That's way better than build.
Right, and then you're stuck with it, right? So a guy that knows everything about this whole series is like, okay, so I'm Neo Holland. Neo Holland doesn't do anything in this series.
What am I supposed to do? Yeah, no!
So he changes it, and that's how he meets the Don Quixote character, who becomes his Schwartzbruder. That's his duplicate from his world. It's been his clone the whole time. That he arrived here 10 years earlier, and that'll be how it's done. It'll be great. And you have to fight Super Asia at the end.
The time travel bit there, perfect. Wow, cherry on top.
Yeah. Where's Berserk and Lederhosen? Yeah. Well. I don't know if it would be guts. It would definitely. I think we're getting into a conversation that might not.
We could instead that guts is probably not for G Gundam because that's all countries, but they could. I'm surprised they haven't done like a G Gundam for anime Gundam type merchandising crossover, right? Like here's your Goku Gundam, here's your Naruto, Zaku, things like that. Like I feel like that would be a huge.
Okay, I'm gonna break your mind. If you just go onto Google and search Naruto Gundam, someone's drawn that. Someone has drawn Naruto as a Gundam. They've done all the Kamen Riders as Gundams.
Oh, I've seen some of the Kamen Rider ones.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, look at there's some. That's actually kind of cool. He painted the RX-78 like yellow.
Mm-hmm.
My only contribution to Tokyo Happy Hour this week is that I just started looking into the Digimon manga that apparently existed like 26 years ago. So that's a good one.
That was another.
I haven't
even read that
one. Jurgens, have you?
I read some of it like a long time ago, but I need to read it. But I'm still finishing up Pokemon Adventures. I'm almost done with Sword and Shield, and then I got Scarlet and Violet, and then I'm all caught up. And then I could start covering Scarlet and Violet.
The Digimon one, the problem with the Digimon one is that would have been the place to actually really put your effort into, not the anime. Because the anime's got to you got to get kids into that. That's the information to know what the hell's going on in the digital world. Way too high of a threshold of entry for kids. Not that they're stupid, it's the attention span issue. You got them like locked up on apples have meat inside of them. Then you got to tell them that when their Digimon dies, it gets resurrected. That what? I was meat appling and now my friend's an egg? And
not only that, it's like you have the whole concept of the Digimon multiverse is like confusing on a multitude of levels because literally certain universes and seasons cannot coexist with one another because they've been established in canon of that universe that it's a TV show, but then later on in like a future episode, like they're all teaming up together. But it's like, but I thought that was only a TV character, and that's so the whole thing doesn't make any sense. Then you add the manga on top of all that, where you have characters showing up in multiple different seasons. The whole thing just falls apart rather quickly.
Right. You know, from Frontiers, the digital world is some spiritual thing, but if you listen to Digimon Adventure 1 and 2, it was something some nerds made, and all of a sudden they got struck by lightning, and Agumon was real. You know, and it's a weird science cut, and then it's God had a hiccup and decided to make Digimon because he was bored. So, it's ridiculous. But, well, I guess we'll start the 01 show now. We'll see you guys on the other side of the intro. Keep an eye out. There are a few new things.
We've carried this weight, we've climbed this hill. Candles flicker, shadows fall. But I feel a little hope in it all. Pull up a chair, pass the bread. Raise a glass to the year we've had. We lost some, we gained some, love still near. So we sing through the dark, make it loud, make it clear. We gon' be alright, we gon' be alright. Through the storm, through the fight, yeah, we'll be alright. Hold tight, we gon' sing tonight. It's Christmas, yeah, and we'll be alright. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We gon' be alright. Through the cold and the fire, we'll hold on tight. Oh, we gon' be alright. Yeah, we'll be alright. It's Christmas, yeah, and we'll be alright.
ho, ho! Merry Christmas, 01 watchers! Guess what we got you? We shut down Suicide Squad for you guys. No more suffering. Happy holidays.
You know, that intro made me think. You remember when TGIF was a thing on ABC 30 years ago? We should do that again.
All right, IGN, how much did Disney pay you to give Sonic a 6?
$50 of Super Sentai happens this year, but it's gonna pale in comparison to whatever James Gunn has cooked up for Superman, I guarantee you.
Yes, guys, we have a lot to talk about this week on this pre-Christmas episode of 01. I hope everybody had a joy hanging out with Cider and Nerdigans for Tokyo Happy Hour. Always some good info. Definitely check out Nerdigans' story about the drama queen situation. I feel like that one's going to keep blowing up because genuinely, Nerdigans, when you submitted that story and you were like, look at all these edits, I didn't realize at first that it was only the gender neutral stuff. I thought it would have been the like entire plot of the manga that got it.
That's what I thought too.
Right?
You know, that's what you would think too. But like they did in the summary, they added a little something to it.
Oh wow.
About hate to it, but I was just like, well, whatever. There's that. But like that's completely different than like say the actual story itself.
Right.
But I mean, you saw those Manga Plus comments. It's just like these people are so media illiterate. It is just unbelievable.
It's the continual thing we always have to deal with, which is fiction equals reality. And they think that, and it's like, no, that's not what it means. If you can make a movie about a bad thing, doesn't mean you endorse that bad thing. You can write a story about a bad thing, doesn't mean you endorse that bad thing. But the problem is, Nerdigans, so many of those people are the kinds of people who get their information from YouTubers, right? Like that Spider-Man meme, like the Spider-Man meme of that's a cute opinion. Did a YouTuber give it to you? So like they are projecting.
Who would do such a thing? Certainly not our audience, who's very happy to be watching this stream and not clicking out and doing other things.
No, they want to.
You know what?
Spencer,
speaking of that, I saw some people like blaming Hirohige for this, for getting people to drama queen. I was like, what are you people talking about? Like
that's what I'm saying is that these are people who they're projecting onto us that, oh, I get swayed way too easily by any opinion I hear, so everybody's going to be like that. No, we're like, our audience is smart. If they agree with Cider, they'll agree with Cider. If they don't, they won't. Or me or Jacob or you. And it's just, we need to stop giving them air.
Or else.
But yeah, guys, in addition, again, that's the drama queen situation. Great manga, honestly, like so far, but it's going to have so much dumb discourse around it. And if it ever gets an anime adaptation, just maybe log off of Twitter for a few days. But aside from that, we are here now in the official 01 show. We have, like I said, a lot to talk about. We've got Warner Brothers Games updates. We've got an embarrassing thing, an embarrassing trailer, I guess you could call it, from Naughty Dog for their newest game. Jacob saw Kraven the Hunter. There's, everything to talk about from the Game Awards. There's a bunch of stuff going on with The Witcher. So buckle up, guys. I hope you're seated. You've got your cocoa. You've got your eggnog. Nerdigans, are Jews allowed to drink eggnog? I noticed you were drinking that in the intro, and I'm not entirely sure.
Yes, we are allowed to drink eggnog.
Is there anything you have to kosherize in that, or is it just you're good?
No, we're good. We could drink eggnog.
Nice. No, I'm genuinely asking.
Well, what drink do you pour into your eggnog? Because I don't know if you guys know this, but eggnog is fucking disgusting, and you need something else put into it to make it edible. So how do you digest that, Nerdigans?
I like how you clarified that too. You didn't say drinkable, you said edible, because yes, that's what eggnog is.
Don't you have to like put like rum or something in it to make it good?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
rum.
It's
and-
basically to fool your body into thinking that you're not an alcoholic. That's really all it comes down to.
It really is.
Wow. You Flatlanders live real charmed lives. You know, up here we just drink the eggnog straight and then chase it with rum if you feel like it. But you know, you fellers down there in the flatlands, you gotta have that sweetened up for you, huh? Like IGN has to.
Our hoity-toity flatland liberal elites over here.
I'm up in Maine, by the way. You can't see it because my Santa hat's blocking it, but I'm up in Maine, and it might as well be another planet compared to most people on this panel. You know, man. But being from another planet, what's that?
Like I even love because like I bring this up all the time. You're very involved in your like local Maine politics, or at least like spreading words and stuff, but you mainly focus on like the import laws against the trucks and stuff. So it does feel like I'm watching one of my friends who lives on another planet like negotiate their planetary rules, because they're like, can we get these strange little cars, please? And I don't know, I like it.
Yeah, whatever an internal combustion engine is, you need to send it up here, all right, guys? And internal plumbing, okay? We need that. We need indoor plumbing.
Still got the outhouses. And speaking of outhouses and things that are full of poop, we are here with IGN's review of Sonic 3 and their review of Mufasa. And it's just another example of IGN having zero taste. Nerdigans, you broached this one in your intro. Do you want to take it?
Yeah, so I saw this earlier this morning, and I just was shocked. I saw the Mufasa review. I think it was last night they posted it, and Mufasa had an 8. It was like, okay, something seems a little suspicious with this. And people were in the comments were like, just watch them give Sonic a low score. Just watch with that. And lo and behold, Sonic 3 has a 6. And the thing that's even more odd about this is that in the review, it says that Sonic 3 is the best of the series so far, and the other Sonic movies have 7s. So it's like,
it's one of those things where it's like, you know, when you hear somebody talk about, you know, the movie wasn't that good. It's an okay movie. I give it like an 8 out of 10. It's like, that's not a rating for an okay movie. Like, I don't know.
Yes,
like,
right?
It's like, some people, like I said, some people just shouldn't be movie reviewers just for that reason alone. Like if you say a movie is mediocre, yet you give it like an 8.5, like out of 10, like that's not a mediocre score. Mediocre is like 5 out of 10. Like,
right?
That's like mediocre. Like don't give it like almost a 9 and talk about, well, I mean, it could have been better. It's like you don't know what you're talking about.
Us being
look at
friends
it.
aside,
Look,
I always
I mean,
think that
hold on
you
a
have
second.
the best like reads of it. Like, or yeah, no, you go ahead, Nerdigans. Then
I
I'll
mean,
glaze
look,
up.
read it right there. It says, against all odds, the Sonic movies appear to be getting better as they go. Yeah, and then the first 2 had 7s, and this one has a 6. It's like, this is not as better as they go.
And like what's insane to me with that, especially Nerdigans, is like everyone here who saw Sonic, there is that very significant like screw the middle part of it, right? Where they go to the wedding and it's just like, we don't care about the aunt. She's the worst character in all of this. So if you gave that movie a 7 and then you gave this one a 6, you're telling me that you enjoyed that stuff more than, I guess, shadow fighting things. I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but I have to presume they listened.
Yeah, there's from what I heard, there's less humans in here, and there's more hedgehogs. They put the focus more on the hedgehogs, and obviously Jim Carrey's characters. So it's like, yeah, it even says there fewer human stuff in there. So it's
good.
Like, it's like, what the hell is this? I'm just like, that's why I said, is Disney like paying IGN to just like give Sonic?
Yes,
a
that's
low
exactly
review?
what they've been doing for the last several years.
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
Richard.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Richard in chat here, he says, just doesn't work for me in movie form. And I find that a lot of people who want to talk about the Sonic movies kind of have that wall with it too. I myself have a bit of a leap with it because the Sonic I know is a bit more, I don't know, with it. He's a bit more hip. This one's a bit of a 12-year-old who's full of himself. And I don't mind that. I think that's perfectly fine for kids. I am not the target demographic, okay? I concede.
It's not Sonic AM cider.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm more used to like 3D Sonic in the games. I didn't get along well with the TV shows, so I know that character. And that character is like, too cool to be in school. See you later,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and that
like
kind
even
of
the opening to Sonic Adventure 2 when they're like, "Hey, you're under arrest," and he's like,
no,
"Sorry,
I'm
guys."
not.
Like, I'm out of here, and then he just
And
like grabs the panel and starts like Tommy skyboarding.
Right,
down
and
to the
I'm
city.
gonna live my life because I can. You know,
Yup,
that kind
yup.
of thing.
And then
Yeah.
dun 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 dun. Woo!
Yeah, right. Yeah. Running around at the speed of sound because of the giant gun truck behind me.
But I see, Cider, I knew you would get that because ever since I played Sonic Adventure 2, I was like, that's what Tommy did. I've never seen another person do what Tommy did.
Right. And I have wondered when that game came out after that movie, and I have to wonder, they're like, well, that was the coolest Power Ranger that did that. Guess what Sonic's gonna do now? You know? Maybe they got Jason David Frank to do the motion capture for it in one of his wind tunnel studio things.
Uncredited, motion capture for Sonic, Shadow, everybody.
Yeah, right. He's everybody. That's right. Well, and the other hiccup I had with this movie is that I honestly believe that Hayden Christensen would have been a better Shadow. When I hear Keanu Reeves coming out of Shadow's mouth, it's like, why is John Wick a hedgehog? I don't even hear Neo. I just hear John Wick. And then he pulls out a gun. I'm like, that's John Wick, the hedgehog. And I just wish Hayden got a chance because he has such that revenge voice, and he demonstrated it very well when he came back for the limited run of Kenobi when he didn't have the helmet running, and you could hear his voice instead of the AI one there when they were mixing it. He had a very good, like, I'm still angry at you voice that would have done well against against Sonic. But again, you got 50-year-old Shadow, and they're like, oh, we have to have a 50-year-old man play Shadow because Shadow's 50 years old. It would be weird if he had a smaller, younger-sounding voice. It's like, no, it's even weirder now that, like, this adult hedgehog wants to kill this child hedgehog. It's really weird now.
I'm not against Keanu. Like, I think whenever he shows up, it doesn't feel cynical to me. Like, when he did Cyberpunk, I was like, that's cool. He genuinely wants to do that. Cool. He probably genuinely wanted to do this too, but I'm with you. Hayden should have been it, but I think it went to Keanu, and this is what kind of bums me out because the studio probably went, get a big famous name.
That's right. Googleable name. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like the thing I noticed,
it was basically between like Keanu Reeves and Vin Diesel. Those are the two options.
Honestly, there's probably a track out there of Vin Diesel being like, Sonic, get out of my way.
Mm-hmm. Sonic, it's about family. That's why I've got to rescue Maria in this Charger, even though I drive a motorcycle canonically.
And like,
ride or die, remember?
That's what bums me out is that, like, we didn't need this for this series. Like, they did a really good job, at least with like Sonic, picking Ben Schwartz, who was kind of a nobody. So his voice was new. Yes, we had Idris Elba as Knuckles, but I actually think Idris tried really hard to put on like a character voice. Like, you can tell it's him, but you can also be like, that's Knuckles. He's very like straight. He's very flat. With Keanu and Shadow, that's just Keanu, which is like cool, but it feels,
it's really weird. It's really because we're used to having Shadow having like that Vegeta style voice where he's like raspy but a higher tone, and he talks like he's too cool to explain his sentences in a timely fashion. You know, and
instead we're gonna get like the breathy version of that.
Yeah, like Shadow's like, hey, I'm here to tell you, Sonic, that I am the ultimate being, and you need to believe that. And Sonic's like, I'm 12. Do you like pixie sticks? I run on them.
See, now I want them to. I wish they would have taken it to like the full extreme and make like Sonic an actual like 12-year-old instead of like an immature teenager, and then 50-year-old Keanu and make that the movie. Like,
I'm waiting.
Child.
I'm waiting for them to do the whole voice actors play the characters without the CGI, just so you can get an image in your head of a 50-year-old man. Just being way too edgy with a child voiced actor that's very much younger than him. And you can just see the dynamic I'm talking about. Right. It's like a father being like, I'm going to kill you, son. You know, it's kind of the attitude they have.
It's going to be great. But yeah, like.
And then he's obsessed with a 12-year-old girl. That's the other part, too. It's like you get this old man voice coming out of this hedgehog that's like, Maria, I need to get my AARP check and I'll come to space to save you.
Like, who's older, me or Gerald? Take a guess. That's what we're doing today.
We're the same age, jackass.
But yeah,
You came to my graduation party.
You were there.
We went to college together, Shadow.
Yep.
You were majoring in theater.
Nerd. That's why we didn't talk to you. But yeah, like, how does this? So like Sonic got a 6 from them. Mufasa got an 8. And I can't fathom how anybody can give that an 8, even especially because like Barry Jenkins, the director, has
money, right? Yeah.
He's just like
Make it rain.
This kind of sucked, but I did it. Like there's no
some studio executive lighting a cigar with $100 bill. That was exactly what happened.
Oh no, 1,000%. Like it's so funny because everybody's like, "What's it like in CG? Are you gonna do more?" And he tries to do the amicable press thing where it's like, "Oh, it was a different journey, different medium," but you can tell he's just like, "I hate it here. Like I don't want to do this anymore."
Mm-hmm.
He even admits it. He's like, "Yeah, it was a fun experiment, but I think I'm gonna go back to more film, like on film productions." And I was just cracking up because I'm like, nobody wants this. Genuinely, nobody wants this. He even tried to come out today in an interview and be like, "Oh yeah, if you watch this one and then go back and watch the old one, it's gonna have a whole new meaning." And I'm like, "Shut up! You don't need to do that. This is stupid. I don't want prequels. Like, go away."
Just a cash grab, part 6.
Oh, it's such a cash grab. Like,
well.
If it gets money, I'm gonna be even more angry.
Yeah.
Speaking of cash grabs,
I do want to mention this too.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes gave Sonic an 88%. The critics score did. So that really goes to show you that IGN, you ain't so slick. We see that Disney money.
We see that Disney money, and we see you're just like continual bad taste.
And
they always put like the worst person to review a thing on a thing at IGN. It's like, "Oh, Cider, do you really like furry dating simulators?" "Absolutely not." "Great, review it for us." "Oh, hey, Nerdigans, do you like video game tie-in movies?" "Never hated anything more in my life." "Great, you're up for Sonic." Like, it's just like that.
Mm-hmm. Let's just give you something that you have absolutely no experience in and you don't actually want to do whatsoever.
Right,
and
yeah.
Make you the expert of the entire panel. That'd be great.
We're going to headline you and put our name on your review. Let's do it.
It's going to be amazing.
Well, and speaking of amazing, that leads us over here to Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet.
So, guys, in case you haven't been following us on Twitter, which you absolutely should be doing, or you haven't been on the internet in the last 4 or 5 days or so, we recently had, or not recently, but last Friday, which is recently, but I can be specific. Last Friday, we had the Game Awards, which, as we all know, is one of the, it's honestly like a sad endeavor to me. It all feels more fake than the Academy Awards. It all just feels like a big advertisement. It's sad. The only reason we all watch is because we want to see what possible new trailers might come out. And we got some cool stuff. We got an Okami 2. We got Okami 2 was the one that's sticking out of my head because we got a cool Turok announcement. Hopefully that's good. I mean, the last
Virtua Fighter.
That's right. I knew there was a big one that I liked. Yes, Virtua Fighter. Thank you, Nerdigans. My hero. So like there was some good stuff, mostly mediocre, just sort of stuff. And then there was this. There was Naughty Dog. So if you guys don't remember that name, Naughty Dog is the studio who is behind The Last of Us Part 1, Part 2, Part 1 Remastered, Part 1 Remastered re-release,
I'm now fully convinced that The Last of Us Part 1 was a mistake. Like they made that on accident.
Oh, no. Well, so that's one of the things to point out is, so this game and The Last of Us 2 were written, directed, all that, by the current studio head, Neil Druckmann. You guys probably know what he looks like. He's got the like long curly hair. He's got a beard. He looks like a very sad man all the time. And I mean that like in his eyes, like he looks sad. He looks like he doesn't want to do this. But he came into the studio during Uncharted 4 and worked on The Last of Us 1. But those games were primarily written by a woman named Amy Hennig, who I believe her other credits were like the Mass Effect games, some of the Dragon Age games. Like she's a really good writer. So Neil essentially came in, took over, I think she left voluntarily. So he came in and he, put his name on it. And so everybody went, The Last of Us is great. Oh my God, Neil, make every game you want. So we got The Last of Us Part 2, which was the dumbest game in a long time. Like the thing that stands out to me with all the drama, Last of Us 2 aside, is just like how dumb the writing is. It's one of those, I'm 12 and this is deep. For example, there's a scene where I believe you're Abby and you get attacked by somebody's dog and you have to kill it. And then, if you proceed a little bit more, there's a guy later on being like, you killed my dog. Like, you didn't have to do that. Like, blah, 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 blah. And it's supposed to make you feel bad. Like, dang, player, I can't believe you gave in to your urges to kill a dog. What does that say about you? Then it's like, I can't advance in the fucking game if I don't do that. That's not a moral choice. That's you made me do that.
Like, you set me up.
Right. 100% set up and said, I cannot leave this room until you kill the dog.
We have a question here. B. Baker says, did Neil Druckmann get his man bits willingly removed yet?
Oh, not removed. He gave them up. Like,
yeah, he seems like one of those people who are into having people step on his nuts. So yeah, that's probably closer to what really happened.
Oh yeah.
Timon, Meteor Herald, member of the channel, says Last of Us was made before Naughty Dog transformed into a conforming bitch. And yeah, we know that because Last of Us was it was at the tail end of that era where people were trying to piss off George Bush by presenting like this this far right, super powerful Nazi group of people that were loosely Texan, just loosely Texan and inexplicably Texan. And you'll note that some of the Fireflies are good old boys. You'll note that they're good old boys. They've got a good old boy accent when they tell you what to do, son. And so the situation is that they evolved after that into taking the woke money. Because if you look at the time that Last of Us came out and then when Last of Us 2 came out, that's when the woke tidal wave of money arrived with all the stipulations of X, Y, and Z needs to happen. And that's why it wasn't about Joel being a good father anymore after he failed with his first daughter, ended up shot at the beginning of the game. It was about Ellie becoming a lesbian girl boss. That's what happened to the franchise from that point forward. Joel being a good dad and getting redemption was completely erased. In fact, that was rewritten to be a bad thing.
Yep.
Like, I don't know about you, but like everybody cried at the end of that game. If you didn't, you're not human, okay? Joel saved that little girl's life and then he lied to her in order to keep her sane,
And that was supposed to be the drama, but no, here's Abby. Don't you want to play as Abby and feel bad about everything?
Yeah, then they had that weird like sex scene with Abby where everyone was just like, well, what is this? Well, why is this a thing? And then then it's all downhill from here.
Oh man, I can't even like. That first of all,
it looked like a scene out of Oz. That's if you.
Yeah,
I know Oz is a dated reference, but for those who know that show is, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, Jacob and I are over here taking our freaking like milk of magnesia. Oz.
Rubbing Bengay on our knees and shit.
I remember when that episode came out. But no, yeah, you're right. Like none of it was appealing. All of it is sort of a lot of The Last of Us 2 is just existing to serve Druckmann's ego and also push a lot of that messaging, right? Like that's all that game is. There, like Cider said, they got rid of the Joel thing. It's the messaging. I'll give the game credit for its like physics engine because when you like use the rope to like lasso like things and pull them down, it feels fun and it's like, whoa, that's cool. That's all I can really give it. And that's one tiny gameplay thing out of like a 40-hour, 80-hour game. It's not that it's bad. But in case you guys didn't like, having your favorite characters ceremoniously killed off or having, just a giant butch lesbian.
Or literally anything else.
Yeah, or anything else. We now have, what is this? The Intergalactic? Intergalactic.
The most memorable title ever, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. It just rolls right off your tongue. Absolutely never forgettable.
I don't know about you, Jacob. I know you see this with movies. Like, there should be a ban on new franchises having a subtitle like that. This should just be like Intergalactic, and then
you can't have a semicolon in part 1 of your series.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
Yeah. But I'm surprised they didn't put like the Beastie Boys in his trailer. That should have been like a layup, right?
I think Marvel probably owns all of the distribution rights for the Beastie Boys forever.
Or they have
so-
a specific like contract thing that's like everybody can use Beastie Boys, but if you use Beastie Boys in a space setting, we're coming after you.
Right, we're gonna get you. And so we have Planet Pepsi and the Porsche Winnebago. So here's the problem, right?
Yeah.
Porsche apparently makes a ship that's large enough for you to have a toilet, one bedroom apartment in the middle of it, okay? That's a Winnebago. That's an RV. That's a camper, okay? That's what people who are dentists buy instead of becoming biker gang members, okay? So it's just bizarre that Porsche's like, oh yeah, we make space Winnebagos. That's what we do now. And then they're watching Angel Cop.
Right. Well, that's what I wanted to point out because you put up that amazing video. Like this game is so like Neil Druckmann
references the game.
Yeah, that's references the game. That's the best way to put it. I was trying to like find the like good way to say it, but like Druckmann came out and he's like, "Oh, this game's inspired by Cowboy Bebop. It's inspired by Akira." But as we'll go through this, and if you go check out the awesome video, like I love that video that Cider put up so much. All of this is surface level references to things, right? Like, oh, we're referencing Akira. Are you referencing the idea of like a post-nuclear hellhole or, youth being on the out and having no future or bioexperimentation? No, there's going to be light trails. Like, that's it. They don't, or what do you like about Cowboy Bebop? Is it the solemnness of Spike's quest? Is it the old school Ronin, like feeling that he gives off with the rest of the crew? No, I just like spaceships. Like, that's all it is. Even when they try to go, oh, we're referencing, and like, here's our fake 80s anime that they throw in.
Yep.
It's not 80s anime. It's just a, what do you call that? Vaporwave style current anime. It's very, very, we'll go through it.
Well, and this is just it right here, is that as I pointed out in the video too, this is Ripley from Aliens.
Yeah. Oh, no,
they're like, okay, we have a badass woman in space. She must shave her head. This is the only way you can be a badass in space. Because if you have your hair in space, you're not a badass. You're some kind of space princess.
Seriously, I've dealt with that.
Well, what it is that it's this surface area stuff that the woke are always guilty of. There's somebody that did a search of the entire dialogue available of Dragon Age, the Veilguard there.
Oh, yeah, that new one.
And found that the word okay, as in OKAY, is written over something like 6,000 times in the script. A fantasy series just says, okay. And it's like, and the caption is, I fucking hate millennials. That's what the caption is to that screenshot.
No,
it's like, this is what it is,
No, yeah, that writing in that game, like, now that we like talk about, like, every time it gets brought up, I just remember how that game is them yelling at their parents, the game. Like, all it is, an exercise for them to go, Mom, why were you mean to me? Why didn't you let me go out when I was 16? Why didn't you respect my independence? It's like, get over it. Get over it. Move on. You can go out right now instead of ruining video games. You can go hang out with your friends. Just be quiet.
Yeah, and again, so here's Richard saying this. If you're going to pull that kind of stuff, you probably ought to respect your sources. And they don't. As you'll see as we're going through this, they just see like, okay, I'll explain after we're done looking at this, but what it is it's basically trying to get your brain to recognize an image, to become familiar with this universe without them having to explain anything to you. They want you to see this and get a feeling, and so that will skip over lore. Like, okay, so here it is. Yes, she has a previous relationship with these bandit people who are known as the Five Aces because it's plastered everywhere in front of you. You can't avoid that these people are important to her because their faces are circled squared in red because it's the future and apparently circles are evil or something. I don't know. And then you have Five Aces.
Not futuristic, Cider. Come on.
We have Five Aces mentioned no less than 2 times in giant bold font, and then new lead is over here, dead, all that stuff. So you have this person, so you get an idea that this person is invested with their previous crew, okay? So that's, again, they're not explaining anything to you. The show don't tell thing has a flip side, okay? There's a double-edged sword to not saying a damn thing and just leaving people to guess. And I get that it's a trailer, but this should have done more to introduce us to Jordan Munn. You didn't even know that was her name, right? Didn't even know that was the bald chick's name. Right. Her name is Jordan Munn, like Olivia Munn. Get it? G4, get it? Gamers, get it?
Get it, gamers? Yeah, get it?
It's so annoying.
Oh
And
man,
of course,
there's a cancer reference there. I'm just not gonna do it. It's too much.
Sure.
There's a Jada Pinkett reference. We could be going all night on just that alone. But no, you're right, Cider. Like, this is one of the problems we get with a lot of video game trailers, movie trailers, is that they try to go for vibe, and especially like video games are bad.
Kaneda's jacket.
Like this, right? Kaneda's jacket's right there. They always give you your cinematic trailer, very rarely any gameplay, and they go, "You're excited for this." They want this right here is aimed at the people who go, I recognize that, right? Like, the people who will get the most out of this game are the people who always reference the Akira bike slide and have never seen the movie. Like, that fans of being fans of things is what this is, because this is just like Cider pointed out. They wanted you to sit in this trailer and go, "Oh, I know that. I know that. I know that." Dang, Naughty Dog.
This is so cozy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm home. We can do this. And it's so fake. It's not anything, guys. You walk through the door after that, and it's just a flop house, and somebody with like their eyes bleeding is like, "Come on, 40 man."
Timon just brought up something important that I even missed, is that it's the future, yet they still have printed newspaper. And it's like, oh yeah, that would be an absolute fire hazard in space. Because, like, if anything goes wrong with your atmosphere, paper immediately lights on fire because of the nitrogen in the air and the nitrogen in the paper. So as soon as you have your atmosphere tweaks even just a little bit, that paper goes off.
Boom. Yeah.
It's just going to be a giant fart sound in space.
Yeah. Well, coming from a Porsche, you know, it's not too out of character. Now, this one was interesting to me because we've seen so many characters do this, but it seems to originate from Hunter x Hunter with Killer. It seems to originate there, where he is very interested in becoming a very powerful fighter, and someone's trying to talk him out of it, but he is giving them that face while he is drinking, completely imagining his life as a fighter, not listening to the warnings and
not listening in front of him at all, just like in his own, like, I know better.
What do you know? He's wearing red when he does it too. So
I know that part. I was like, dang, like, that has to be. Again, that's another surface level anime reference, right, guys? We're not saying they're diving in and doing like a Getter Robo reference, which that would be like, whoa, okay, impressive. This is Hunter x Hunter.
This Porsche is equipped with a trackball mouse. It doesn't even have a mouse touchpad. It's literally a trackball mouse with a right and left button. Not even.
What year is this?
I like the analog idea of stuff. Like, I feel like, especially in like crafts and stuff, like the tactile sensation of like, okay, I clicked that, I know that works. But they're not doing that here, Cider. They're just going, do you remember 80s technology? They're not saying, here's a new analog board that we made for this ship. They're going, do you remember how Sony used to make synthesizers? Do you remember trackball mouses and how that was supposed to be the future and we all moved away? It's just sad. It's really, really sad. It's the Marvel equivalent of when they throw in a character and they're like, they're going to cameo, like Echo. Like, oh, Daredevil's going to be an Echo. You guys love Daredevil. And it's like, we do, but you're also just like going to crap on the character. You're not using him.
Do you guys remember the Virtua Boy?
Okay, if they had like, okay, we got to go pilot the ship, and it was like a Virtual Boy layout, I might give them 1 point back. I'll give them 1 point back.
Now, I did fix this scene right here where she's sitting with her arms behind her head. I did go into AI and repair that. And so this is what I came up with. And as you can see, it has a much more interesting character now.
Or at least one people want to play as.
Yeah.
Play with. But
so I was basically spending most of the last like 30 minutes like trying to figure out like a better like AI protagonist than the one that they gave. Even like kind of like using like some of their own parameters, and it's like the AI like with very minimal effort is giving me far more better protagonist than anything that they're doing over there at Naughty Dog at the moment.
This was something I wanted to point out, is that a lot of people, if you want to show off your AI creation, go ahead, man. It's no problem to share. I just, what I want to talk about is this right here, is that people pointed out that this was a lot like Akira's one, where they did have a pretty much similar thing. But I want to remind you guys too, Pizza Hut, almost every Pizza Hut in the 90s had this, had a CD changer, jukebox. and it would pull the CD up because they didn't have the MP3s at that point. You had to have the whole CD and it had to find the appropriate track. So it took a second. So it would do all that and it would get it spinning up. And meanwhile, all the neon stuff right there, nice golden glow in the inside of it. And you and your friends with your pizza stained fingers are pressing all the buttons to control everything and start the music and annoy the people with 10 hours of Tom Petty's Whoa, Whoa, What's New Pussycat. Over and
Right.
that's a reference, by the way, if you don't know that joke. It's a great joke. But
Stop him! He's going for the jukebox.
well, no, this is a guy. These guys went in there, and his friend put like $5 worth of nickels in and selected
Just
the
played
"What's
that
New
song
Pussycat"
forever,
song. And
And,
like
like,
by the
banned
fifth
it.
time, it repeated like a man with his son just got absolutely pissed and like threw shit on the floor. And it's like it's enough. I can't take it anymore.
Never again. No Tom. No more Tom. Not Petty.
It's Tom Petty. It is. It's Tom Petty.
Oh, is it Tom Petty? I thought it was. Oh no, you're right. Who am I thinking? I don't even know who I'm thinking of. But Susano, a la Richard points out this. Think this end was them trying to rip off Guardians of the Galaxy's moves. It's. I mean, I would say it's probably more of an Akira like thing, like Cider was saying. But the fact that they did that, you know that they went, oh, we can do this, and it'll remind people of Guardians.
Yeah,
Like,
they thought about it. Somebody at the table noticed that too and said, "Oh, this is just like Star-Lord with his Walkman singing the song
and
as he's throwing those alien rats around."
And this is where I know that that's how that happened, because they're using CDs here, right? Which is like, okay, Peter Quill uses mixed or like tapes, right? Cool, sure, fine, we get it because Quill came from or whatever. But here, it's like if you're in the far future and your best audio like format is a fucking CD, that's like a problem. Like you should be going back to laser discs at this point. Like it's in. That's how I know they didn't put any effort into what would the future look like. It's just, do you remember this? Do you remember CDs? Do you remember CDs, Cider? Oh, CDs. We all used to listen to CDs.
Back in my day, you had to have a book of them in order to keep track of all the music. You didn't have 1,000 hours on your iPod.
I hate myself for that now, by the way, because like I did that with my video games and my albums. And now I'm like, oh, why did I take them out of their cases and trash the jewel cases and put them into these stupid binders? Like, they're worthless now. Sorry, nerd.
So this-
go ahead.
I was gonna be like, yeah, I did the same thing. Is that I kept the artwork and I put the artwork behind the CDs.
That's
to,
what I
like,
did
protect
too,
them.
but it's still like I admit, like I did that, but I was still an 8-10-year-old, right? So it's not like I preserved them well. Like they've got tears in them. I tried to tape one of them back together. Like if only I knew better.
No, my artworks for my CDs were still good, but then my CD book got stolen. And
who's even stealing that? What is this, 1993?
This was like in, I think, 2000 this happened.
Okay, that's still valid. 2000 was the precipice of the iPod.
Well, I wanted to point out this, okay? Now, I can't find it exactly because I don't remember which Gundam series had a console that showed the Gundam charging up that had two different charge gauges on either side. I forget which one it was. It might have been Gundam X where it was charging up the blasters. I'm not sure. But one of them had the Gundam that had two power levels beside it. And that's all I could think of when I saw this. And it's like, please, for the love of God, have an original idea.
There's no original ideas here. This
feels like Toonami, even though I've never seen Toonami do this with the boosters. But I was like, this is Toonami.
No, this is all Toonami feeling. Like that character right here. All we know about her is that she's like a smug, like I'm a cool rebel type character. Like that's all we know.
You mean like every other female protagonist in the last 15
She ain't got
years?
she ain't got no titties. That's what we know too. She ain't got no titties.
So she's just like Tom, the robot, who only exists for those 3-minute segments to go, hey, welcome to Toonami. You know,
so basically we've basically been releasing like a series of like less attractive Jin Ursos into the world like ever since like the Rogue One came out. That's basically what we've been doing.
Leslie said it in the chat a little while ago, but ever since G.I. Jane, you know, Hollywood thinks that being bald makes you a strong female character. And then like I look at Jin Urso and I'm like, hey, she had a full head of hair. She was, you know, pretty looking. Why can't we use her again? Or even like Leia. And it's like, no, it's always got to be shave their head. Like, I don't even know why you're shaving your head. Is there a plot reason? It kind of baffles me because I would assume that if you're buzzing your head in space, you're putting on a helmet, but they're not even doing that. It's just like a normal house. Like Cider said, it's a Winnebago. They're just hanging out. So it's like, why did we have to do any of that? What is the point of this cutscene?
Well, and this is what Jacob cooked up here with what he was working on with AI to replace Jordan Munn.
Easy.
Yeah, so I say, give me Jordan Munn if I actually wanted to make money with my franchise. That's literally what I put into AI, and I got a series of tests here. So this is kind of like the first one, like the rough one. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, give me a semi-attractive Asian woman and have her be attractive. So this is the first one that I got. This one was like, okay, give me something a little bit more fantasy, and real quick, pop it over here. Ah, damn it. That's okay, because I still have it on this one. I'll just have to slide it from one to another.
Throw it over it, yeah.
Yeah, damn opera.
Technology!
Okay, I'm listening. Looks like Yaya Han.
Yeah, exactly.
So Susanoo in here, Susanoo says, I mean, I like bald women, but it doesn't make sense in general. The problem isn't necessarily the bald woman. It's that, like Jacob said, this is all we get nowadays. This is the standard type of character we get, the hyper masculinized female character, which is insane to me, because all they crow about, all the like neo-leftists crow about is, oh, women should be on, the same plane as men. They're just as tough as men. They don't need to change themselves. And then all these characters are highly masculinized. Abby, this girl, what are you saying, guys?
So then I was like, okay, well, fine, let's play by your rules. Give me like a short hair girl and a little more of like a cyberpunk setting, something like that. And this is one of the best ones that I got here. It's like, okay, this is fine. This would have had no blowback to it, so you guys can go with this. But of course, no, they have absolutely no intention of doing that whatsoever. Even with this one here, this is one I was like, okay, here's someone who probably looks more like a modern audience type, but it's still somewhat far more attractive character than the one you guys were putting out there. And I think this one might have been the best one. Like, I can actually see this one here, not this character, but the next one here.
This is definitely the best one.
But no, I can see this character like legitimately being like, a video game character that people would have liked. This one right here, I think, probably the one that came out the best.
Oh, I would have played as that. That's better. I mean, if you're going to keep the bald, that's better.
Like, there's something intriguing anyway about it.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, at least it looks like there could be something cool. Maybe she's a robot. Maybe we get super cool powers. Maybe there's
brain implants. She wants revenge because of an accident caused by these jerks that were part of her gang that left her bald and robotically headed.
But instead, like Susanoo pointed it out, so he was saying that the reason the bald works for him is because he grew up in the punk scene, and a lot of women, had shaved their heads there. And I agreed with that. I'm like, I see that. The difference here is that this intergalactic chick, it doesn't feel like she's being genuinely rebellious against the system. It feels like she's #resisting, right? Like, it's a social media trend to buzz our heads in solidarity against, intergalactic Trump. And, so she does it. And then, okay, that's it. All right, cool.
Yeah,
well,
I mean, that's just kind of the ridiculousness of like the whole thing at this point too.
I want to point out that this character is meant to be non-binary back to front, no matter how they tell you. Even if they tell you it's a she/her, this is supposed to be a they/them, because Jordan Munn, if you just see that name and it's spelled in the way a man would spell it, it's not spelled with a Y to feminize it. It is Jordan Munn. So if you saw that, you would think that that's a man. Then you see this bald person walk by you with a very, very angular jaw, and you say, oh, okay, so that's good old Jordan. Nice to see that bro survive deep space. Crazy haircut he's got now. And that's it.
Genuine.
There's no feminizing quality about Jordan. That's the difficult thing about this character, is that if you even wanted to like have a fun opinion of her, it's impossible to do so, because like you're never sure if you're actually dealing with a woman. And because it's the future, you might not be on purpose, oh, well,
this one definitely would not be the non-binary cut, because
I think we're pretty sure who Jordan would be. That's for sure.
Yeah.
If there would be no mistake.
Sydney Sweeney
probably would have sold more units.
Yeah. Well, at least 2 more anyway. But
I think that's going to be the fate of this game. Is I'm sure it's going to sell. Unfortunately, we got to remember there are a lot of normies out there who are going to see the marketing and see the name like from the studio that gave you The Last of Us and go, oh snap, I'm in. Like, we just have to admit that. But I don't really see this being like a blockbuster game like Last of Us was, like I'm seeing everybody on the internet go like, screw this game, screw Neil Druckmann, screw Naughty Dog. So unless
you
they
guys,
flip it around, ain't happening.
you guys saw this from the thumbnail. And what I tried to do with this is I really tried to stay with what they had created. The puffy jacket, the bad attitude, femme fatale. But obviously I took care of feminizing her a bit more, and I gave her the tight pants because it's just cooler, in my opinion, than whatever cargo pants she was wearing. But as you can tell, you can retain the baldness without becoming, I wouldn't say, because we'll go back here and we'll take a look. You take a look at this, right? And then wherever I put that picture.
There's a Chad meme where he has like one eyebrow up and it or the meme of the like oh gosh, you know what it is, Jacob. Maybe you'll know the name for it, but like it's the 2 image meme, and there's the top one is like the soy boy going like, ah! And then the bottom one is like the Indian dude like fixing his like collar, and that's supposed to be like the Chad one.
Oh yeah.
That's what her face looks like. It's the Chad doing the and I'm
really
just like,
is.
I can't get over it. Like that's the Chad meme.
So we come back over here to there you go, and I just zoom in on this AI generation's face, and it's all it took. All it would have taken them to do is angle her eyebrows, give her lipstick, give her eyeliner. That's all it would have took. Now I added her having mangoes strapped to her chest as opposed to like half apples, but whatever. But the whole situation is that you didn't even need to really add the gazungas here to feminize her in a way that people would prefer. And that's really the biggest issue with Jordan Munn, is that on its face, that this character was created to dunk on people like us that want to have female characters that look like Eve and don't look like this.
Yeah.
No, it's true. And that's why like this, just all of this package is not going to be good, or it's not feeling good. I highly doubt anything that comes out about this game is going to get anybody really, really hyped. We did, there are leaks floating around, but I have to address this. Those leaks are unfortunately fake. Jason Schreier himself came out and said, I've never seen them before. I mean, that's as far as we can trust Jason Schreier, but that's what the current development is. But I bring up those leaks because I want to point out that they are so on point that so many people were like, I could see this happening. This could be real.
So many people got duped because
they went.
Well, no, we'll go over them right here.
Perfect. Let's get into them.
We'll go over. This is what came out on 4chan as the leak. Now, obviously, there's a lot here, and we're not going to go through line for line. So I'll give you guys the overarching situation. What happened here was that somebody who is involved with the development went to a highly populated Discord full of other devs and other type game creators and just kind of explained that they're having a really hard time at Naughty Dog. They don't like the direction the company's going. And, oh, by the way, here's the plot of the game you just saw the trailer of that everybody's talking about. And so what's happening here is that Jordan is a member of a gang called the Five Aces. They were a notorious sort of bounty hunter gang. Had a great time together, made a lot of money together, great, all that stuff.
Do you remember the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Right, and so they broke up, right, like every band does, because you got to do that. They can't just be friends forever, because that would be boring, right? Anyway, so what happens is that a character named Luis ends up crash landing on a planet that is restricted, so you can't go out there for a reason. So for what, kind of like those radiation zones in Oblivion, there's just sort of like these space fences that say, hey, you can't go any further than this. And what it is that this is the world of the Simperians, right? Now, it's spelt like Semperfi, S-E-M-P, but the way they pronounce it, it sounds like S-I-M-P, the Simperians, okay?
Simperians.
And that's how they say it. And so the situation evolves that you find out after chasing this guy here. He's one of the guys that's the bounty hunter she's trying to collect. And so you arrive on this planet, you find this guy, you fight him a bunch of times, and eventually you find out that the Simperians were humans that were hyper mutated when they were sent through a instant transmission tunnel that the Earth was trying to create to bypass using ships to get through space. And then when they were horribly mutated over here on Simperia, this planet they were teleported to, the Earth said, wow, you guys are a bunch of ugly fucks, you're not coming back. And they shut the door on them and banned them from coming back. And so that proverb at the beginning at the trailer that's like, oh, after so many generations, we'll have our revenge, is about
to conquer Earth.
Well, is the Semperians waging war against Earth because Earth has apparently somehow locked them out from being able to get to Earth to wage war. So they build all these weapons that kind of act a little bit more like Transformers meets Horizon Zero Dawn. So it has like a lot of animalistic quality to it, a lot of mistaken biology to it. And then it's also very biological looking, right? It's very like, it's not a tank on its face. It has a tank features. So you know it's a tank, but it has more animalistic features, but it's not a dragon with a tank turret coming out of its head. You know what I mean? It's not on its face a mix, but you feel the animal presence in it. And so what it is Luis is sort of like the Steve Irwin of these Semperians, and he wants to save them, and he wants to kick Earth's ass for banning them out here and blow the fuck out of the Earth capital, whatever. And so the Galactipole, because Interpol, get it? So we have to have Galactic Pole, because Interpol is international police. We've got the Galactic Police now, so they're the Galactipole. And I was just like, Merry Christmas.
That's exactly what we're talking about, right? Like if I was watching Cowboy Bebop and they said Galactipole's coming after you, I would still say, like, why did you use the full Galacta? Like, that's weird. But I would understand, right? But I would be like, that makes sense for something that naturally evolved out of Earth, that keeps Earth as its center. That makes sense. Here, it's just saying, like, it is because it is. It's just saying, like, they chose that name because, like Cider said, like, they're in space. It's not like they, what do you call it? Like, evolved there. They just started there. It's so lame.
Yeah, the game called Intergalactic is played on one planet. Yep, you're right. Yep, nailed it. It's in fact all about that planet, in fact, because you don't even get off Earth. Here's what happens. It is the pinnacle of women don't take responsibility for their actions. So here's what happens. You play the game out, you end up with fighting Luis. Luis has a tank. I assume Luis is the guy here that's got the beer with her and when she had hair and they're good buddies, or maybe they were lovers. I don't know. So anyway, they duke it out. He's got a big old tank. She beats the pants off of him and gets control of the tank. All right. He's done and over with, dead or whatever.
Non-Gianni's in this. I keep forgetting that, and it makes me angry every time. Keep going.
and so you, the player, now have a choice to make. You can use the tank to obliterate the Galactipole ships and enable the Semperians to wage horrible, never-ending AI war on the Earth for what's been done to them. Or you can destroy the Semperians, their armies, and allow the Semperians to be captured and killed off as a threat to the Earth. But in either case, whatever action you take, you immediately get out of that tank, get into Luis's ship, and leave the repercussions of that decision behind. Whatever you do, you leave the scene of the accident right there. It's like the pinnacle of women don't take responsibility for their actions. It's so stupid. So you wipe out one species or another, but you don't stay there to take credit for it.
It's trying too hard. It feels like it's trying too hard to hit all of these sci-fi themes, right? Like that reminds me of sort of like the engineers or the forerunners from Halo. Like you came and you wiped out a place to seed it, and then you just left, and nobody knows about it. Like, get it? None of this. This is kind of what you were talking about during Tokyo Happy Hour. Like, this is where you go, there's no mystery here anymore. They're telling us everything, and it's just sad. Like, there's nothing interesting. There's no intrigue. It's just, I don't know. It's so sad. It doesn't feel good. It feels so cynical. And you know that it's going to come out, and Neil Druckmann's going to be like, this is the best thing I've ever written. I'm changing minds, and I'm going to.
Well, the thing is that this is part of Druckmann's promise to Naughty Dog that they're going to be an IP farm now, that they're going to be building amazing things that nobody's going to want to look away from. Okay. And so the situation is that they can't, because what this is, right? This takes all of the things that he learned from Uncharted. It takes all the things he learned from The Last of Us.
Yeah.
And it slams them together into a space story that's, I would assume, meant to be part of a greater pantheon of games. The idea, I think, is Intergalactic is supposed to be the title of the franchise, and then they swap it out for wherever Jordan Munn goes next to kick ass. And that's That'll be kind of the story. Is Jordan Munn is the intergalactic part of the intergalactic title, and that's what it'll be. Is it has to do with that moon, and as usual with the way they do with hardened female protagonists, some accident happened with her parents who were super smart. That happened with that space jump light speed thing that looks like the Doctor Who tunnel, and they destroyed that moon in the process. They died and scarified Planet Pepsi. And that was the big accident that made her fall in with the Five Aces as opposed to go to college and become a pianist.
The Planet Pepsi, that's the one that's still like, until I watched your video, I didn't realize that. And I even told you, I was just like cracking up. I'm like, oh, like one original thought, please, one, a single one.
If you're confused about what I'm talking about, guys, here it is. This is Planet Pepsi. There's no mistaking what that is meant to evoke in your mind. Yeah, I can't even look at that without getting thirsty for a Pepsi.
It's
and that's
just
and they knew what they were doing because it's the old Pepsi logo. It's not the new one where it has like the weird belly sticking out one. It is quite clearly, if you zoomed out far enough, the top part of that planet should be white. Should be blue with a white stream of polar vortex running through the middle of it. Planet Pepsi.
Nope, Planet Pepsi. You can go quench your thirst down there in the Mountain Dew Springs.
Right, and that's not this planet of the Simperians. That's just some planet that she's parked out at because they wanted to dunk on you with how cool their Unreal 5 engine is or something. I don't know. It's really dumb.
Which it doesn't even look good. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of over this realism level in video games because
hyper-realism's getting annoying.
It's gotten to this uncanny valley level where whether through just technology or more likely, as we all know, like the intents of the devs, they try to go so realistic that the characters start looking inhuman. Like they don't look like women or men. They just look like Fallout 4 robots now. And it is very distracting.
Ghouls. Yeah.
Lifeless automatons.
And that's kind of what I was getting at with this video that I made for Bounding here yesterday about what's going on. And it has to do with this phenomena that's happening across not just gaming, not just movies, not just it's really happening to everything. And that's the situation that this talks about here. And it's just a bit down way in my bookmarks. That's why I'm having trouble to get it up. But what it is this right here. It is Hosan went on to this fella on X. He goes by Hosan, and he explained the situation is this: the logos are all changing. You see these right here. Over the years, you've watched them become more simplistic, and what this has to do with is that. And I'll save you guys the big research information, the video that explains all this stuff because it's got a lot of conversation inside of it. This is what the most important part of this is that your brain, the human brain, is wired to find an image, to interpret an image 60,000 times faster than interpreting text. So that's what this is all about. Rather than trying to explain to you something through your ears, rather than try to give you something that is like on the screen that explains like who Jordan Munn is or anything like that, just has her name right there on the bounty card. That's it. The rest of the time they are going, do you remember this? Do you remember that? Do you remember this? Do you remember that? Because that's all they're doing here. It's the most corrupt form of marketing. It's why you watch a car commercial and it has nothing to do with a car. Because all they want you to do is associate that car with this man eating a hot dog. They want you to see like this person having a sensual eating experience with a hot dog, and then a Ford Mustang rolls into the scene at the last 2 seconds. Because your brain is then thinking about a hot dog, and you've associated the Mustang with the hot dog now. So when you go get a hot dog, you'd be like, well, I just spent $1.50 on a hot dog. I might as well spend $50,000 on a muscle car. And that's
what makes sense. You do a hot dog, you do muscle car. Go.
Yeah, right. And that's what they do. And that's why I said in the video that I made, I had that Asian lady from that skit with the Wayans brothers where it says, you buy now. Hurry up and buy.
You buy now.
And that's what it is that like they're constantly pushing to remind you of things you can be trustworthy of. You can trust Angel Cop.
Yes.
You can trust Sony. You can trust Reebok. You can trust the Pet Shop Boys. You can't trust Jordan Munn.
No, and like to your point, you know, the more sinister thing I just realized is like that's also why they're doing all the retroness of it. Because like you could do, here's Adidas shoes in the future, right? You could have done something like that. But if you look at the Adidas brand on that shoe, the old Sony logo, the old CDs, it's supposed to lull you into like, remember, we're still that company you love. Cider, we're still Sony who did
You know who we
Spider-Man
are.
1. Yeah,
We're
we
your
still have
friends.
great music. Come hang out with us, even though
Do you remember that time that Bruce Campbell said some things about Spider-Man? That was us.
you love that, right? Come on over, guys. It's gonna be great. And then they throw Jordan at you.
Remember that time you got us mixed up with the guys who make the cool Batman games? Yeah, that was fun, right? But
I feel bad for your mother. Isn't that the line that they said in Menace to Society at the very beginning? Where, there's a movie we should add for movie night. Menace to Society. You ever seen?
Seriously?
No, I'm white.
Fair enough. Yeah, like seriously,
wait a minute.
LA in 1990. LA in 1991 is like a foreign land, the cider.
It really is.
I was just saying, isn't this part of like some DEI training you have to do as a white person to go outside? Like, don't you have to watch that movie?
To work at BioWare.
Work at BioWare, work at Rockstar. Wasn't it Rockstar who had the like diversity training listings on their
Yes,
LinkedIn
you had to
whatever?
get diversity certified in order to work at Rockstar. In order to make the GTA games, you have to take sensitivity training, okay? And it has to be like completed. It has to be something on your LinkedIn, in fact, okay?
I feel like that game is gonna be another one that sells because it's GTA, but I also feel like it's gonna be ass. Like it's not even in its writing, of course, aside, because we've now heard twice that BioWare has confirmed that they are asking Rockstar has asked their writers to, scale back the meanness towards minority groups. So once you take that off the table, the equal opportunity, making fun of everybody, this is going to go downhill with just a bunch of like, oh, dumb white guy jokes. But I also think like they're going to make this super big, expansive map, and it's just going to be too much. It's going to be too much. Who's going to add another 140-hour game that they probably don't finish that they push you to GTA Online? I'm not looking forward to it.
They should have just went to GTA Online. They should have just released a DLC called GTA 6 on the on the online. Then that would have just rebuffed everything.
And we wouldn't be here.
But speaking of not being here, I really wish that Kraven the Hunter wasn't real.
Oh man,
it's a movie that exists. And for all you haters out here in the panel and on the crowd, it is the best Sony Marvel movie to come out this year. So take that.
Okay. All right. You got me. It probably is better than Madam Web.
Golden Globe winner. Academy Award winner.
I know Madam Web and Venom 3 are extremely low bars, but that does not make the statement any less true.
Okay, so as the only one of us here who has deigned to see it yet, I've got plans for it. Mm-hmm. What's up with it? How obviously I'm getting that it was probably genuinely better than those old movies, but I also know you.
Here's the best thing that I can say about this film. If you go there and you watch the first 10 minutes of this movie, where there's like he's going to prison in Russia, there's a big prison break scene, he's running around the ice, like quite literally like a lion, just like scattering around everything. It is legitimately a really, really good sequence that gives you a great introduction to the character. And then everything falls apart immediately after that. So if I was going to tell you, if you want to watch this movie, I would say sneak into the theater, watch the first 10 minutes, and literally walk away, because it will not get any better than that whatsoever.
We don't even have to sneak into the theater. They released those 10 minutes online. That was their big push.
Yeah,
like,
the whole, and they knew. They knew that was the best part of the whole fucking movie.
So you tell me that, and I'm just like, man, what is going on over? Like, this, Madam Web, all of it, the three awful Venom films, like,
so
no wonder they're crashing out.
So after that first 10 minutes, the film comes to a screeching halt and goes through like, no joke, like a 40-minute like flashback sequence showing young Kraven,
I knew that's what
his father and his brother. And it's not like one of those like 3 to 5 minute flashbacks where you just kind of see his upbringing. It's like, okay, we get it now. Let's move on to it. Takes like 40 minutes to get back to Aaron Taylor Johnson's character in the present day. And you're like you just destroyed the entire pacing and flow of the whole movie with that whole bit, because no one cares about young Kraven Craven or his autistic brother or Russell Crowe. By the way, so in the movie you have Russell Crowe, who is Australian, Aaron Taylor Johnson, who is British, and then the third guy, I can't remember his name, but he's American, and they're all doing variations of a terrible Russian accent simultaneously, and it's so bad. You just get to a point of like, could you have not just hired like actual Russians at this point?
Or like, I will just talk normal. I don't care at this point. Like, it's too distracting.
Like it's like it's bad 80s level like Russian accents on like different dialects.
Yes,
So it's just even worse. Like I imagine like a Korean trying to speak in like a Russian accent. That's be how bad it sounds.
It feels like an Avengers team up of all the bad guys from the 80s. So you're gonna have the guy from like Die Hard, the who had the uranium in Back to the Future? The Libyans. You're gonna have the Libyans in there.
Oh yeah. So the whole concept here is that while he was a teenager, he was out with his dad, who's like a big game hunter. He's one of those guys that like hunts like lions and like stuff like that. And then a giant mythical lion showed up that, for whatever reason, didn't initially attack him, but then Russell Crowe shoots at the lion, so it starts attacking the kid, and it's like any normal situation, the kid would have been dead right there, but it just drags him along through the jungle. Then some black girl shows up, and she has the power of like voodoo hocus pocus, and with using voodoo hocus pocus and a drop of lion's blood, turns him into Craven the Hunter with superpowers, and he got like cat-like reflexes and superhuman strength. And there's one scene in the movie where somebody kidnaps his brother, and he literally like jumps down from like the 40th floor of like a high-rise building and like lands like perfectly like on his feet, and then he starts like literally chasing this car throughout the entire city, not just down like a couple of blocks, the entire city on foot, trying to get back his brother. Then he's like literally like hang gliding with like a helicopter and so it's like the power skill here makes no sense whatsoever, because if he can do all of this, like this guy is basically like an Avengers level villain. Like at that point, like Captain America would have a tough time with this guy if he were to like mark him up here, but he's just a regular old Craven here in a movie without Spider-Man, because no, that's what we're gonna do. And this is the big flaw with the movie, and it's the big flaw of all these movies. They're trying to tell a story of a Spider-Man rogue gallery villain without Spider-Man and without actually making them the villain, right? So it's not that, these people are just bad guys and it's a movie about a bad guy. It's like, well, no, they're just kind of misunderstood. They're not really evil. They do bad things occasionally, but, it's all for a right cause.
It's society's fault. It's not their fault.
And then they have to take another like D-list Spider-Man rogue gallery villain and make him the villain, because that's the only way that they can get through the stories, by having someone who's even more evil than them. So they have the Rhino here in this movie, and he's like the villain. The guy who's playing him does a over-the-top cartoonish I guess a impersonation of the Rhino, to the point where you almost feel like, does he know like the cameras are on? Like, does he know that they're shooting? It's like, it's that bad, and the whole thing is just flawed. The thing is just a mess. Aaron Taylor Johnson is not bad. Russell Crowe is not bad. Like, these are actually like solid actors, and if they had like the right material, they would be good. Like, there's a potential for this character in the hands of someone who actually knows what they're doing. However, you just never get that throughout the course of this movie. And as a result, the bad writing sinks this, inexperience sinks this all around. And the best I can give this film is like a 1.5 out of 5. But that's the best that I can give this movie.
And all of that goes to those 10 minutes.
Yeah, like if it wasn't for those 10 minutes, it'll probably be like a 1, maybe even 0. Yeah, I would say without that first 10 minutes, it's probably like a 1. So, yeah, but the 3 Sony Marvel movies that come out this year, Madam Web is still pound for pound the worst one of them all. That's an absolute 0 out of 5. Like that one's almost like, wow, some of these effects are like borderline experimental. Like, it's that level bad. And then Venom 3, which came out a while ago. I think I gave Venom 3 like a 1 out of 5, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been a little bit worse. Yeah, it was just like this whole thing could just stop at this point. So if I had to rank all these films from bad to worse, Craven would be the best one, Venom 3, then Madam Web. But you're talking about 3 movies that are like 1 out of 5 to 2-0. So yeah,
it makes me surprised that they didn't just cancel this and be like, all right, we're just going to move on, because They waited so long for Craven. They pushed it.
They gave this movie a $130 million production budget.
130 million for this?
Yes.
On what? The Rhino looks like crap. Like, what are we spending this on?
The effects are awful. Like no, seriously, the effects are off, especially the ones that like involve like animals are like the old school Jumanji movie.
Yeah,
like it's almost that bad.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's so bad.
And this is a movie now that's been out for almost a week. It's only made $28 million worldwide on a $130 million production budget. So this is going to be another massive money loser for Sony on top of all the other ones that they've lost money on.
Which is like, what we got here? What we got? Yeah, there you go. Look at all of these ratings. This is how. I mean, yes, it's Rotten Tomatoes, but this gives us a good sort of, barometer for how everybody sort of reacted to these movies. And
I'll go ahead and say this, right?
I don't know how Carnage has the most. That just has to be people being like Carnage.
Carnage is literally the worst movie out of all of these on this list. Like, it is abysmal. But so keep in mind, this whole thing started because when they brought Spider-Man over to the MCU, they were like, we're gonna do a Sinister Six movie here at Sony where we're gonna get all the Spider-Man villains in their own separate movies, and it's gonna go to a big team up. And everyone was telling them then that was a terrible idea, that they shouldn't do it. At one point, if you remember, they were actually talking about doing an Aunt May solo movie. That was legitimate discussions that they were having at Sony at one point in time.
They did. They were going to say a Scarlet or Scarlet Sable. No, that's not her name. Silver Sable movie. And they were going to give us a Black Cat movie. And then they were like, oh, let's combine them together, Silver and Black. And then they canceled it. And we were all just like, thank God. Like, that was nobody was going to
By the way, if you're waiting on that Silk movie, don't hold your breath. You're going to suffocate. But so as a result of that, these are all the Sony Spider-Man movies that don't have Spider-Man in them for 1 second in either of these movies here. And here's how I rank these films. Now, Venom 1 got a lot of heat. I actually didn't mind Venom 1. I thought that, it was a change of pace from what they were normally doing with Venom. Tom Hardy is a solid actor, so for what they were doing for that film, I don't mind it. But then as we went further into it, it just felt Venom 2 is pound for pound the worst movie I've ever seen. Like I told you guys many times, when Venom is partying with the hipsters in San Francisco, I almost legitimately walked out of the film right at that very moment. That movie was awful. Venom 3, like I said, it's just bad. It's not as bad as the second one, but it's still bad. Morbius, if you guys recall, that's the movie that bombed twice because it bombed the first time around. Everyone memed it to hell on social media for like a good week and a half, and Sony were so stupid they actually thought to themselves that people were memeing it because it was popular, so they put it back in movie theaters thinking that everyone loves Morbius, only for it to bomb even harder than it did the first time.
Wait, wasn't there a change.org petition that said we were really busy, Sony, we didn't catch it, can you bring it back?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I got like 100,000 signatures. Isn't that what they based that off of? That's why they did it?
At first it was just the chatter. They were like, oh, there's so much chatter on the web over Morbius, let's bring it back. They didn't
if you go to the Morbius trailer, there's still just like nothing but there's like 30,000 comments, and every single one of them are just memeing the hell
out of Morbin time.
It's Morbin time. But so we know that, like from my source, I've talked about this before, in Hollywood, they don't make their decisions based on like the quality of comments being made. They just go, hey, algorithm, how are people talking about Craven? Great, people are going to want a Craven movie. So between that, and we know that, studios take the worst lessons from successes, that just makes me laugh so hard that they were like, oh yeah, people are going to love Morbius again. Let's do that. Even though just one intern, hire one person under 20 to like go online and be like, they're messing with you. Like, this is not real. It'll save you so much money.
Yeah, like literally just hire somebody's like 11-year-old son and be like that. They're mocking you. Like they don't actually want the movie.
Dude, Barron, you heard Trump. Barron whispered in his ear and he's like, you need to go on these podcasts. And Trump would say, I don't know who this person is. And Barron would say, what? You don't know who this person is? And that's how Trump would gauge like the level of shock that Barron would have. He's like, all right, I gotta go with Dayton Ross now.
Dayton Ross, that's what I was gonna say. Yup.
Yeah, and then of
that's
course you had the Madam Web
whoops.
movie, which was the movie that was so bad Dakota Johnson literally crapped all over it as the movie was out in theaters, and may have sabotaged her own career in the process. But
But I so much respect for that from her. Like I'll give it, even though she signed on for it at first. The fact that
Yeah.
she can come out and be like, "Yeah, that was awful." I'm like, all right.
for her to come out in the week the movie's released, be like, I don't think I'm ever gonna watch this movie ever.
The best are all the interviews, because a lot of the interviewers, they're just doing their job, so they ask her like, what does this role like mean to you? Like, what are you excited for the future of Madam Web? And you can just see her face being like, oh yeah, it's great, it's gonna be fun. Okay.
Yeah.
Like she wants to go so bad.
And then that line she gave about the spiders and her mother dying and the Amazon,
In
whatever
the
it was.
Amazon.
And then they tried to make her like, so tell us what about that line. What inspired you to say that? She was like, what?
He's like, what line are you
She
even
was
talking
like,
about?
it's a conversation. Isn't everything a conversation? And it was like the weird so she made it 100 times worse, trying to explain it like a Valley girl, you know, like this weird philosophy.
What do you mean people are talking about it on the internet?
What's the internet?
She said that
You
too.
know?
She's like, what?
Yeah, right. And so that just got worse and worse because there was nobody on that PR team that was like, if they ask you anything, tell them yes, you've seen it and you think it's hilarious. I don't care if they ask you if you saw the Hitler meme. Tell them you saw it and think it's hilarious.
Just agree. But yeah, like, so Morbius, obviously all of these are bad. I think like I probably would say Venom. Yeah, like you said, Venom's probably the best one. I probably got the most enjoyment, honest to God, out of Matt Smith in Morbius, because you could tell that dude was just like having fun. He's like, this is going to be a stinker, so I'm going to go ham it up to like 1,000%. Like there's that dumb scene where he's like gets his vampire powers and he starts like dancing in front of the mirror and being buff. No reason for it to be in the movie, but I can tell he's having fun, so I'm like, I'm behind you. And then
That's the thing. Well, I just know Matt Smith was like his agent came to him and he's like, so wait, let me understand. There's a paraplegic man and he becomes a vampire. And his sole purpose then is to just fuck with another vampire man? That's what he does with the gift of walk, the gift of being able to just fly through the air as some mass of bats, I assume. No, he's just gonna fuck with that other vampire man. That's what they do.
That's it. Just
okay.
Vampire on vampire
I get to
violence.
dance, right? I get to dance. All right. They wouldn't let me dance in Doctor Who. Now I'm going to dance in this.
Now I will dance. It's my time.
And that's what it was. He's like,
it was.
Finally, my theater training.
I can finally do it. I can use it. Yeah, exactly. He goes like into his like mind palace and gets all his old training back.
Mind palace. Yeah. Oh man, the most pretentious thing in the world. I go into my mind palace to prepare.
I love referencing that stupid show because that's so dumb. But then there's like, I am still very, very mad about Madam Web because you guys have all heard me talk about it. But we all knew it was going to be bad. Nobody had an illusion that this was going to be good. Trying to find something that was like, okay, that's okay. I was like, hey, we'll at least get to see the three girls in their Spider-Women suits. And that's cool because it's comic accurate and we haven't seen them before. Cool. They marketed the movie on that scene of them in their suits. That scene lasts for 50 seconds exactly and is a flash forward to something you do not see.
It's borderline a dream sequence.
Borderline. Like it basic. I mean, yeah, I would go full dream sequence. None of it ever happens. He freaks out and tries to kill them because of that. And then they never suit up. Nothing ever happens and the movie ends.
Like the first 5 minutes of Madam Web, it's like you have the sequence of like her mother in the jungle with the spiders, and then the acting is just so bad there, and then it just like transitions to like, you know, this 1994 Party of Five intro where they're almost playing Bop as she's driving down the ambulance, bantering with what's his face back there, and I'm just like, is this a movie? Like, did people actually make this?
Yeah, no, it was so weird. It was like, what is happening? I don't.
It's like I would have literally called the studio and be like, guys, you send us the first draft. We need the final cut. I think you guys say this wrong.
When I watch that movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. That scene, that first scene where she gets out of the ambulance and like has her powers activate, right? But she's like trying to help the crash first before the like sergeant takes the car and then like gets T-boned. In that scene, when she's working on the accident, there's no camera continuity. So like it keeps flipping. Is she on the left? Is she on the right? Is she talking to them? Is she standing up? I was so confused. I was like, what is happening in this scene? Is this her powers going nuts and we're just seeing a montage? Oh no, this is what you meant for the movie. This was what you purposefully put in there.
Yep. And speaking of purposely putting things where they don't belong, the Suicide Squad's finally out of the way.
I don't know. I'd say this is putting this exactly where it belongs. So yeah, guys, this actually broke last week, like the day after our show. So we haven't talked to you about it yet, but Suicide Squad is done. They have officially announced that the next DLC pack, which I believe is already out, will be the last one. It brings Deathstroke to the game. And so let's start there. I am baffled at the fact that this feels like they knew what they were doing, even if the game didn't bomb. Because who are all the first 4 DLC characters, right? It was Mrs. Freeze, it was Deadshot's daughter, it was I don't even remember who the first one was at this point, but all these characters that
Joker?
Yes, Joker. It was Joker. That's exactly who it was. So Joker, Zoe, Mrs. Freeze, and I feel like there's another one. Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess it is Deathstroke. So yeah, and Deathstroke. So that they were doing like let's put all of these, crappy characters that you'll have to buy, and then we'll put the character you really want at the very end. And it's like, A, I see right through you. And B, another thing I want to point out, which is so hilarious about this, is that this game was probably supposed to go for 5 seasons, because each of these seasons, the last cutscene per season is rescuing a Justice League member. So you rescue the Flash first, then you rescue Green Lantern, then Wonder Woman. And in this one, you're going to have to save both Batman and Superman. So it's like they clearly just had to get everything out, kind of, what's the term? Like they're getting kicked. Your lease is up in a month. You better get everything out by then. Otherwise it's going in the dumpster. So this game is we all know this game has been a disaster from the very beginning. Sweet Baby's name is all over it. I'd like to remind people that this is the only game thus far, even, Alan Wake or Spider-Man 2, none of them have as big of a dedicated, like, Sweet Baby Inc. worked on this game as this game does, right? They're in the credits and it says, like, Sweet Baby Consultants, and it has, like, a few people. But this one in Suicide Squad, it's like, big thanks to the team at Sweet Baby, and it centers them and it shows all their names, and they were proud of it. But look at what happens. Nobody wants Batman shot in the face by Harley Quinn. Nobody wants Deborah Wilson in anything anymore. Can we please get her to go away? Mm-hmm. She plays the same bald, bug-eyed woman in everything, and I'm sick of her. I want her gone.
It's like,
so, like,
please leave.
And then, of course, it was a live service game at a time when. So here's one of the things that a lot of people don't realize about video games and trying to break in with a big multiplayer game or something like this, is that there's a bit you have to convince. Like, yes, there will be players who are like, oh yeah, I'm jumping on that automatically, but that's going to be a small amount of players. If you want a big player base, you're going to have to convince other players, like, hey, I know you're committed to Overwatch, I know you're committed to Fortnite, I know you're committed to Diablo, whatever, but hey, come spend some of your live service time over here. And to do that, you've got to make them fun to engage with. This was not. This was, somebody going on Wikipedia saying what's in a live service game and then just adding it, not caring how they added it, just putting it in there. So microtransactions and piecemealing up your story and so many icons on the screen at all time. You don't know what's going on. So all in all, this is probably the least surprising development we've ever seen out of this video game, aside from the fact that it launched. That was pretty surprising. But yeah, we are at a point where this game has lost. They've written off like $400 million in like lost value. So I forget the exact term, but there's this metric in business where let's say I have, here's my phone. My phone is worth $100 right now. If I hold on to this phone and I keep using it, and then the next year comes and I'm doing all of our corporate taxes and it goes down by 20%, like $20, it's only worth 80 now. Well, I've lost $20 of value from my holdings right now. That's what happened with Suicide Squad. That game dropped so fast and nobody bought it. Nobody was engaging with it. They had to write off $400,000 in lost value to that game. That's sales that were never going to be made, DLC plans that were going to get scrapped. They didn't know what they were doing here. So it's just been a disaster after a disaster. Every wrong move you possibly could have made with this game, they decided to make. And, you know, to sort of put the cherry on top of the poop sandwich of it all, like this, with this decision to shut down the game, and to make it clear, the servers will stay live, but they're not supporting it anymore. You might get like stability fixes, but you're not getting new content. You're not getting missions or whatever. It's just going to be live. So yeah, it's not quite deprecation, Susanu. There's another stupid like specific business term for it, which is just confusing, but it's essentially deprecation. Yeah, no return on investment, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, as you can see in the headline, one last middle finger to the world as Suicide Squad goes out. It resulted in a cut of 100 employees from Warner Brothers Montreal studio, and they were the Q&A team for the game. So if there's no Q&A to do, they've got nothing to pay him for. Now, the odd bit, and I don't know if you guys have ever, like you, Nerdigans, Jacob, Cider, I don't know if you've heard of this, but in their like firing messaging, they were like, yeah, we got to cut all these positions, and we'll either help you, you know, we'll give you resources or connect you with, you know, other openings maybe, or you can put your name down and in 2026, we'll call you back and you can be like the first on the project. And it's just like, what even is that? Who does that? Why would I put my entire life on hold for like a year and a half or less than a year and a half, a year, when A, there's no guarantee of what I'm working on, and B, I'm pretty sure this studio is going to shut in the next 6 months, because what few people reporting on this realized is this studio, the Montreal studio, they were the team behind that awful Gotham Knights game, which was the exact same sort of live service crap that we got in Suicide Squad, taking the DEI messaging, you know, to an extreme, to the point where like the Batman is evil and you got to fight Batman at the end, and just all of this crap. So that game failed. They got, you know, not shuttered, but like layoffs hit them. Then they got attached to Suicide Squad. That game fails. Now they only have like 270 employees before this cut. They've now lost more than a third of their workforce. This
it does kind of get to a point. Just real quick, it just got to get to a point where I look back and I think to myself, you know, was Suicide Squad ever really that popular, or did we kind of gaslight ourselves into thinking that this thing was actually like? Because I remember like the hype leading up to the movie, and there was like the comic series like right before then with like Harley Quinn and Dead. So right. I think to myself, like, was that really like as popular as a series as we remember it to be, or do we just get gaslit into thinking that, oh no, this thing is like gangbusters and stuff? Because it's like,
we didn't get gaslit; they tried to gaslight us, like genuinely. Because like what you're right, we all remember the hype from like the normies, but I think, you know, people like us, the panel, our viewers, we all sort of got that sense from the first few Suicide Squad trailers, like, oh, this is going to be weird, especially when we saw Joker. I think the second we saw Joker, everybody went, oh man, oh, this is bad. Like, this is really, really bad. Yeah, exactly. So then after that, right, they keep pushing the team in everything. They made them like the star of the Rebirth relaunch in the comics. They gave them 3 different animated movies. They gave them an anime, right, Nerdigans? They gave them this game from Rocksteady instead of the Superman one we were supposed to be getting. They got a redo. They are like the only comic book franchise of all time to get a redo within the same franchise, right? It went from Suicide Squad to the Suicide Squad. I think what it is that it's a very interesting concept. Take your villains, make them essentially the government lapdogs, see how that, you know, that conflict arises. But there's not a lot there, especially when you go, this is a team where anybody can die. And we know that you're not hiring Will Smith to die. You're not hiring Margot Robbie as Harley to die. You're not hiring, what's his name? Who played Captain Boomerang? Not Michael Jai White. The other Australian guy, whatever his name is, but he's not going to get killed off. So like they take away all the mystery. They try to tell you, this is the cool thing. You're going to love this, but nothing really supports that. This really is just a vehicle for them to have brought Harley Quinn back into the consciousness, right? I remember when that first Suicide Squad trailer came out for the movie with her and the Daddy's Little Monster or whatever. If you guys, so this is something I know Jacob will know, and probably Nerdigans because we're from California. Fat Mexican girls love Harley Quinn. They
Mhm.
absolutely love Harley Quinn more than like life itself. They love Harley Quinn and
They
love
love her
Jack
more than
Skellington.
hot Cheetos.
Right, exactly. Like they will have their
Kentucky's?
back
Wow.
even more
Mhm.
so. Like they will beeline to Hot Topic and be like, I want the Harley Quinn merch. Doesn't matter what it is, they will buy it. So I saw that first trailer and I just went, oh, they really want that Harley money. And it just feels like that's probably the only real thing they've been benefiting off of from all of this is that Harley, I wouldn't even say like she didn't need the help. She was already a character. People already knew her, but now I guess she's just more prominent in the conversation, I guess.
Well, Suicide Squad introduced to the main audience that Harley was independent of the Joker. And the movie stressed that she was upset with him or having some type of
true.
fallout
I
with
forgot
him.
about all that. Yeah.
And so that was the whole point of that, was to take the Harley Quinn that was introduced as Joker's girlfriend and say, no, they broke up. And that whole scene of Batman jumping on their car and her being very nervous and him prioritizing Batman over her was always to demonstrate that they were never in love in order to break up what that 1990s
Or like
Batman show
that
established.
one scene where like it's right before that car chase where they're in the club and Joker has Harley like make out or give a lap dance to that other guy. I'm like, what is this? This isn't Joker. Like, I don't know what I'm watching The Wire or something because this is
And then you know what's even funnier about that in retrospect? Somebody saw that performance in 2016 and said, "Let's make this guy Morbius.
Let's do it again." But with vampires.
This guy, we need him.
But like you saw, if you watch Suicide Squad Isekai, you saw Joker and Harley's dynamic there. They didn't try and break them up. They kept them together the entire time. And you saw Harley's obsession with Joker throughout the entire thing. And you saw like flashbacks to like their time together, and she used that to her advantage. And the Japanese got it. They got their relationship dynamic.
They mostly do, like 98% of the time, especially with their adaptations of our stuff. They do. Like that. I know I brought up the anime in my list off of all the projects that are sort of floundering with them in it, but that was probably the best one of them. That was the most entertaining because at least it did something. Like Suicide Squad Isekai, nobody would have seen that coming. Cool, that's an idea. All the others are just like, we're breaking into Arkham, we're breaking out of Arkham. I want to kill the bat, but then I'm gonna have a change of heart and not kill the bat. And it's just like, but to your point, Nerdigans, I think one of the things that really doesn't work with what Cider said with dividing or with like breaking Harley away from Joker is that if she does that and she's like, I'm done with the Joker, no more, why is she still rocking the Harley identity? Right? Like the Harley Quinn Joker, the clown motif, like that. Yep. It's essentially like if your friend, had an alcohol problem and you went, hey man, like you probably shouldn't be hitting that bottle all the time. And they went, you know what? You're right. I'm done with being an alcoholic. I got to be better. And then like the next day they were just drinking again. And they were like, yeah, I mean, I'm getting better. I'm not drinking beer anymore, man. I've made a change. And it's like, I'm sick of this. Like you don't want help. Get out of here.
That's just it. Is that like up here, over there you got the Latinxy ladies that are into Harley Quinn. Over here, we don't have those types of folks in such numbers. So instead, it's rail thin meth addicts with daddy issues that adore Harley Quinn to death. They will dye their hair up, their regular day-to-day hair up, to do the red and blue thing on either side, keep it refreshed all the time, and they will do the Instagram filters with the clown face that has the crying eye tear thingy. Yep. And they, they were all about the Lady Gaga performance until they went and saw it, and then that kind of thing. So
I like the one from Timon, Latrina.
Well, that's just it. Is that like they're over here? They're not so much as obsessed with the characters like merch. They want to be Harley Quinn. Yes. They are these meth girls want to be that psychotic. I'll kill you if I feel like it. I don't have to have a reason. You should fear me because I am so female, and that's what Harley exudes in the movies. That now in the cartoon that she was just more of a sidekick character. She liked the Joker because she lost her mind because of him. And that was kind of how they had their dynamic. In the movies, she's just a sociopath that the Amanda Waller apparently likes seeing thrown through walls.
That's
and that's
well, not only mentioned that I think we talked about this too is that Harley Quinn movie, the what was it, the one that came out in 2020 that they had
Birds
to
of
change.
Prey?
They literally changed the title of the movie like the day after it came out because they realized it was too long, and confusing for moviegoers. Which is always a good sign.
The emancipation of Harley Quinn is what it was.
Yeah,
Birds of Prey.
No, it was
Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
it's
Birds of Prey, the
like
emancipation of Harley Quinn,
or whatever. It's like the fantabulous adventure and emancipation of Harley Quinn from one joke. I don't know. I don't even know if that's right, but it's
and then they turned around and was like, you know what, Birds of Prey is just fine. We'll just go with this.
Just Birds of Prey.
But only that.
It was Harley Quinn in the Birds of Prey because everybody was going up to the box office being like, "Can I get a ticket for the Harley Quinn movie?" And they were just like, "Screw it, just call it the Harley Quinn movie."
And then not only that, but it was like they tried to make Harley Quinn like this empowered woman, like she was just coming off a bad breakup. It's like, yeah, I know you're no longer with the Joker anymore, but this is your time to shine, honey. It's like that's not the dynamic of the story of the Harley Quinn.
No.
She's not your average 30-year-old New York Manhattan woman who just broke up with her 5th boyfriend in the last 3 months. It's like it's not how this thing works.
No, and you're right. It's not how it works, but that's how they keep trying to portray her. And so Bowsette over here brings up, and this sort of relates to what we're talking about. Bowsette mentions, where was it? Still, the Harley identity. She still has the Harley identity because the Joker broke her mind. She can't move past everything all at once. You're completely right. There's, if somebody has that level of trauma or they have their mind broken, it's going to take some time, but it's sort of, that's why I use that example of the alcohol. We don't see any willingness from Harley to try and distance herself at all. Like she still uses Harley Quinn as the name. She still uses the same color scheme. There's no level of her recovering. So like in my analogy, it's when your buddy goes, I'm done with alcohol. Alcohol's broken his mind. We know that. He's obsessed with it. But we would like to see him, put the bottle down, at least start to, but he's not. He's just keep on going on, being like, don't worry about that. I got this. We're gonna be good. I'm sober now because again, now I got younglings instead of whiskey or something like that. So,
and that's just it. Is that like they can't let go of it because it's not again. We have to remember if they wanted Harley to move away and be a new character, it would be over with. It would be done and over with. Bang! It would have happened. They can't do that because the branding around her is too strong. So she can't leave her color scheme. She can't leave all this other stuff because they need it to sell. But what they want to do with her is make her a feminist icon. And so what they do is they say Harley Quinn is an individual separate from the Joker who discovered her identity through the torture of a patriarchal sociopath that abused her love and affection for him while misplaced, but true. And now she claims her identity as her own, not forsaking it and instead using it as her spear toward destiny. And they're so up their own ass about this thing rather than just making a story about this character separating from the Joker and, being bad, going on a drinking spree, ending up at a college frat party.
Like that.
I would really enjoy watching a movie where she ends up in like one of those Marlon Wayans brothers movies where like the legit real Harley Quinn is in a Marlon Wayans Harley Quinn movie where like Blank Man shows up. She just has this weird underground adventure with crazy hobos.
It just ends up with her like at a dive bar crying at the bar with like MIA Paper Planes playing in the background.
Yeah, right. It's just, it's one of those, you have like that Dark Angel character walk in, right? And start talking but meanwhile, it's just homeless people. It's just these crazy homeless people that she's encountering, but she's having these weird psychotic misinterpretations of the whole thing. So she goes around saving these people from like drug lords that are abusing them. Meanwhile, they don't know what's going on. They think she's some Thor goddess that's fall from the sky to save them from the evil demon lord that makes them weave super evil shirts in the sweatshops, dungeons, that kind of stuff. It could be and again, small budget, very simple. All you have to have is Harley just tripping balls the whole time.
And you could even have like I had a fun scene that just popped in my head where somebody like maybe she laughs while she's about to attack them, right? And they see her like down her shadow down the hall, and they go, Is it's the Joker. Like, oh, they're here. And she like gets pissy. Like, he's not, like, it's just me. How dare you? Like,
Well, you see the
just, like,
giant
smash him
mallet
up.
comes like flying down the hallway and takes that guy like square in the face.
Yep.
And she catches his gun and says, "Mr. J and I aren't talking." Bat, 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 bat.
Yes,
you know,
that would be cool. That would be genuinely cool. Like, the Suicide Squad is a bad movie, but I genuinely like that Harley fight scene. It's probably one of, if not the highlight of the movie. Like, okay, well, maybe that scene where they're all killing the guys while they go through is pretty fun. But yeah, like, Harley has the potential. Nobody's really against seeing Harley. It's just, stop trying to make her into this like super feminist icon when, if you take like 2 seconds to interrogate it, it's anything but.
it's stupid.
And then I just wanted to mention this real quick because you brought up how her Joker is like the patriarchy bad man. Oh, so abusive. And it's like, when David Ayer did that, he didn't trust you guys to understand anything about being like in a bad relationship or abuse without it being like right in your face, comically evil, right? Because Joker in the cartoons and stuff, his whole thing is like Harley's obsessed with him, but he doesn't necessarily hate her or want to hurt her. He's like, go away. Like, you are so annoying. Like, okay, fine. Go blow up the children's hospital. Fine. Help us out. And then she leaves and he's like, oh my, like, thank you. Like, I just wanted her gone. That's the same, like, that's abuse too. Just not caring about her, making her do your dirty work. But unless it's mustache twirling, men bad, you're not going to get it, says David Ayer. So it just, everything falls apart. Yeah, but like, long story short, Suicide Squad's not that cool of a property, especially when everybody survives. You can't keep doing the thing that they do in the games.
Not much of a Suicide Squad when everybody lives. Yeah,
right. Like, the first Suicide Squad movie, the only person who gets his head blown up is that Whiplash dude, or like the zipline guy, and he's on.
Well, it's the Arms Man that dies too. Arms Man.
He dies in the second one with like with like Captain Boomerang and all them. And like, I admired that scene because I was like, oh, look, you killed off you did it. Okay, cool. You killed these characters. Nobody else dies from there on out. Everybody else stays okay. Nobody gets a brain bomb. It's lame. And then we got Peacemaker out of it, which is a whole nother crap fest that James Gunn can't decide if he wants to make it canon or not.
I mean, this ain't no My Villain Academia where we have like the majority of the villains actually die.
Well, like that's what we talk about that a lot, which is the difference between Japanese stuff, or rather things that aren't super embedded and being used as like merchandising points. Those can deliver better stories because you get that level of unpredictability. When I read a Marvel comic and I see, oh, cool, Spider-Man's got a new costume. Captain America's, been thrown into Weird World or something. Oh, Thor now is fighting dragons on like a heavy metal planet. I know that in 5 months or a year, all of that's going to be undone because people remember blue and red Spider-Man. We can't sell Spider-Man toys if Spider-Man doesn't look like Spider-Man. Whereas in, My Hero Academia or My Villain Academia, that dude dies. They're dead. They're gone. Like,
it's over.
It's just over. But we also see too, right? Like, characters, like, people will still be fans of these characters even if they're gone. Like Shigaraki, people love Shigaraki to this day.
Same with Dobby.
Right, with Dobby too.
Philistines.
And so it just sort of shows you don't need to keep resetting everything, and kind of like what Cider was talking about with Intergalactic, giving everybody this false sense of like, it's the thing you love. Come on back. Like come on. Because we all know it's not that anymore. And let's just move on. Let's get something new.
I think it's like this kind of coddling, which is really kind of screwed up American media literacy. Because if you look at like the reaction to Oshinoko's ending, for example, and I'm just going to spoil it, you have to deal with it. Because one of the protagonists...
That thing's been over for like 6 months, if they're not there yet.
Because everyone knew, let's be real, if you've read Oshinoko from the start, you knew Aqua was going to die. It was set in stone. Aqua was going to die from the start. And yet you have mofos saying Oshinoko has the worst ending because Aqua dies and they didn't get their ship. It's like, are we reading the same thing?
Well, that's where like your media literacy point is sort of on point, but also a little off target, but not by much, because I just want to like, yes, there's a big media literacy problem, but the thing that like goes like big Venn diagram almost over all of it is what you pointed out right there. It's that people are like narcissistic and they only care about something if it confirms what they believe or is what they want. And if it's not, they take it personally. They can't engage with the story. They remember fans of being fans of things. They don't care about the story. They're not following all those plots. They're not following the fact that what's his name? I forget the main character's name, but like his rebirth was and all that setup.
Yeah,
like all of that was the exact same parallel to what's her name? And so I was like, and so I was like, duh, that's gonna happen. Like, hello.
And obviously, Aqua's point, the whole point of Aqua story was to get revenge on I's killer.
Right.
Which we did. And
which
like,
we did. So what do you want more now?
Yeah, like what they wanted was a happy ending. It's like, dude, you're reading a CNN series. CNN series
We're literally
is always tragic.
We're reading a series that opens with a obsessive stalker slashing up a girl and her doctor. Like, this is like saying, dang, why isn't Berserk so happy? Why isn't Guts smiling all the time? Right? They're not.
He needs a Digimon companion. That'll make
Honestly,
everything better for Guts.
Guts should have a Digimon companion. Make it like
he should have Gatomon, who is constantly talking shit to him. Constantly talking shit.
Just bat it out of the way. With
he does that. Puck. Puck is like the closest.
I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, that's just Puck. That's just Puck in a Digimon form.
But yeah, I did want to show you something cool.
Before that, I do want to say this. Like, I've been having to deal with this where they're like saying, because the extra story came out for Oshinoko, and I did cover it. And like the thing I thought the whole time when I was reading it was like, this should have just been in the epilogue. Like, people are still saying it made it worse, the ending worse. I'm like, no, this should have just been in the epilogue. Like, what are you talking about? And people are crying, saying this is worse than Jujutsu Kaisen's ending. I'm like,
well, remember, these are the people who these are the people who, during a movie, like if you're watching X-Men, they want Wolverine pop his claws, turn to the camera and go, hey, audience, I just want you to know, stabbing people is very, very bad. These are all very, like, that's what they want out of this. So if they don't get things spoon-fed to them, they look at it as like a failure of writing because they're not on that same level. Remember, only like half of Americans are literate at an 8th grade level. It's bad.
It is really bad. Like, I just
open the schools.
Seriously, I can't believe the stuff I'm seeing, because if you've read Jujutsu Kaisen's ending and like My Hero Academia's ending and Oshinoko's ending, and you're telling me Oshinoko's ending is worse than those two, and it's same with, I'll include Noragami in the conversation as well. You're telling me that Oshinoko's ending is worse than those three, then I have to question your taste.
Yeah, right? Yeah, like, nope. I can immediately discard your opinion.
Yeah.
I have a quick little anime question since we're back in the Tokyo Hour here. Just very quick thing. I think I asked Nerdigans this a while ago. I'm not sure remember what her answer was. Have any of you guys seen an anime called Kunima Drive? I want to say that's the name of it.
Oh, why does it sound familiar? Yes.
It is about like a bunch of like criminals who basically try to like work together to break out a couple of kids.
Akudama Drive, that's what it was.
Akudama, that's the name of it.
I knew there was like another part to that. Yes, that's a fun series.
I got into watching it. I don't like how the second half of the series ended. I thought they started off pretty well. I think once people start dying and you realize where exactly the thing was going, it was like it had potential, then it completely fell off there in the second half. I'm not sure. Did Nerdigans ever see that one?
No, I didn't see that one.
Do you know what it is, Nerdigans?
I don't think I've heard of it. So, if I did, it was a long time
Nerdigans fraud anime reviewer confirmed.
We're gonna have to review the contract. This is unacceptable. No, I'm kidding.
There's a lot of look. You gotta understand. My channel's 10th anniversary is in January, and I've been covering manga for so long, like so many series over this time period.
Oh yeah, no, we're definitely just teasing you. But
I know, but yeah.
Drive was, you might remember this. It's from Piero. It is it's like the crime anime. Like it's like a future cyberpunk crime anime centered on like 6, not kids, but like 6 criminals. And it was based. So how do I say this to you, Nerdigans? The concept and the story outline were conceptualized by the guy behind Danganronpa. So like all the characters and all the scenarios have that sort of flavor to it. And that's what I was going to tell to Jacob is because
that actually sounds familiar. I have heard of it. I've watched it before, but I haven't watched it in a really long time.
Oh no, like we know, you go through like 3 mangas or like anime series in a day. So who knows what you'll remember. But when Jacob was like, oh yeah, in the beginning, lots of potential. At the latter half, once you see what's happening, falls apart. That's exactly how a lot of the Danganronpa games go. So when Jacob said that, I was like, yeah, that sounds right. That's a good approximation of it.
That's how Undead Unluck is right now. That's
what is?
How Undead Unluck is, and a lot of manga has been. Oh my god, I'm so mad on Undead Unluck. Oh god. Mission Yozakura Family, on the other hand, is not like that. That final arc is amazing. It is.
I'm so far behind on that. I'm glad to hear that one is.
Yeah, the final arc is. It feels like, I will say this though, it does feel like we kind of got a little bit moshi mud a little bit, and I feel like it was editorial interference in this regard. But other than that, the final arc up until that point, it's perfect. Every character got their own thing going on in the final fight. The pacing is great. When you get there to the final fight against Asa, you'll enjoy it. It's really, really good.
Good. I'm looking forward to it. Cider, we have been like stalling you for like 5 minutes.
Okay,
What's
sorry.
up? No. He just had something to say. What's up, Cider Man?
No, just check it out.
Huh? Oh, get up! Get out!
Is it the PlayStation 6?
Whoa.
That's really sick.
So this is a 3D display. No glasses are required. It doesn't involve having to fog anything up. And there you go. It's right there.
Look.
That's amazing for like what they were doing with the first thing, where you can see like the internal parts of the motor and stuff. That's incredible.
Yep.
Don't look at me. Look at the screen, Kitty. It's cool.
I can't wait. Technology is cheap enough for us to like have those for everything. Like I can just get a little box with like Kamen Rider in it.
So my favorite part is that this appears to be developed by Americans or people in England or something. Voxon appears to be developed in here, and it's being reported by a Japanese company, a Japanese news source, I believe. I could have that backwards, but it does appear to be some if not English or American developers that have done this, and it's not so much that it's a national pride thing, but a lot of the time the Japanese will develop these wonderful things and then just leave them. They'll just be like Nintendo did a lot of work with VR, and then for like 15 years they just abandoned it. You know, and if had they kept on, they would be way better off than Meta. You know, be way better off. Right, Nintendo Labo they're very good at coming up with these concepts, and they just drop them because they can't find an immediate use. Here, if it's developed by Americans, odds are somebody out there will find a way to put porn on it, which means it'll get accelerant types of research and development put into it, so you'll actually have 3D television. It'll start out with porn because that's how it always goes.
That's how it always goes, guys.
But eventually you'll be able to watch NASCAR from any angle whatsoever. You'll be able to look underneath the car.
I really want that. Like I'm very cynical towards like a lot of inventions these days, because I feel like we're just sort of stagnating and we're not making any real progress on anything. You know, your GPU can process like 0.0004% faster. Great for a military computer. I don't need that in my rig.
Australia.
I made a rig that can open a can of Cheetos without having to physically.
Yeah, exactly. But now, this is cool. And you say it's not a point of national pride, but my reaction when you showed it and you said it was like American or British, I'm like, the West is back, baby. Look at that. We haven't done that in forever. We're on top of a tech game that's not like a missile. Oh man, we are so back. It is not Joker.
Yeah, the prism lenses. Yep. I'm not sure exactly how this operates. I know that it's not directly bouncing light around like the old stuff does, but I don't know if it's using like a gas to reflect light off of. And I'm still not, again, it's just a display video. I didn't get that deep into it. But what struck me is that it is a Western team, and now Timon says it's an Australian team, not the US. So again, it's a Western team. Right. Odds are it'll get used for, nefarious things, which will give it enough money to become more practical for home use. And one day you'll be watching television on it. I don't know about gaming. One of the things that game companies keep forgetting about gamers is that the reason why we're gamers is because we're not into sports. We're not playing football. If you do double that, that's great. But the majority of people who play games are not into physical activity. So giving them a play to play a game that involves them moving around, not going to work. That's a neat little thing that'll happen once or twice a month, maybe.
Right.
But regular daily use is not going to happen. So a game that requires you to walk around this isn't going to work.
Like, remember the Wii, like that gimmick, like everybody would do the gimmick. And then like in a month, everybody's like, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to.
Yeah. And then Nintendo was trying to figure out how not to make you move around to operate the Wiimote, Okay, we get it, guys. You don't have to move now. You can sit down and just shoot things.
Which I kind of, I laughed then and I laugh now because I feel like that was such a funny but like smart business move. Like, yeah, we know that people don't want to stand up anymore. It's been 3 months? Perfect. Drop the Motion Plus. We'll sell them the solution to the problem we created.
But and that's just it. Is that would require you to walk around it. Let's say you're playing a game like Minecraft. This would be something you'd have to walk around it to look at it from every angle or manipulate it and move around with it, rather than having a controller where you just move the toggles around, you hit your triggers and your A's, and you're on your way. It's just too much involvement. Now, for some, like right here, it's using a machine. It's showing you the machine. This would be very helpful for engineers to be able to walk around something, move things, pull parts out, change their size, put them back in. Very, very helpful. Like that Tony Stark thing he was doing when he was going on trying to make the new element. That was very, very helpful. This is that technology. I don't see it becoming a gaming technology. It'll be for television because you want to be able to go to the other side of the room and watch the backside of Jay Leno's head. That's you want to be able to do that. And then you come back around, that's the front end of Jay Leno. They do look different from the back. That's neat.
Well, it'd be great for watching like sports like football or hockey or baseball or basketball. Like, it'd be great for live sports.
Exactly. That was the first example that he brought up. Yeah, no, that would be the perfect one for it. But I also do want a giant Leno head now just hanging out in my house.
Right. It's one of the things about 3D displays is that it neglects that if it is truly 3D, that means you're going to see the backside of something. And usually that's not the flattering part of what you've created, unless it's a video game character, a certain type of video game character. Yes, the backside is where your attention is supposed to be. But
for Jay Leno, Jay Leno's got, I just realized, Jay Leno's got more problems on the back of his head. Yeah. But we might want to look at the back of his head until he can get over his gambling debts.
That's the funny thing about they never remember that with those 3D displays. They never remember that there's somebody on the other side of that 3D shark that tried to eat Marty that just saw this blue blob rise up and fall down. That's all they saw,
No, so I know you say it's not good for gaming, and I agree, especially in a game like any game that kind of requires you to move over a vast distance at all. Like even an Overwatch map would be too much because it would be populating and you would have to go around. Like Cider said, too much work. But I could see this being at least a specialized version of it being made to either do your terrain for a tabletop game.
Yeah, I was thinking that. For a Sid Meier's game kind of thing.
Skirts.
Or, honestly, the first thing that comes to mind when I think of video games here is that stupid Star Wars chess thing that they play on the Falcon. Like that, they'll probably put that in Star Tours or something. Or that doesn't even exist. Or Star Tours exists, but Galactic Star Cruiser doesn't anymore. Either way, nobody's going there.
But yeah, I guess if it's working for an MMORPG or for what's the other thing I was thinking of? A strategy game, like I was saying with Sid Meier's.
Yeah, I just put it together.
Make the most sense.
Hit us.
I just put it together. Oh my gosh, that's what you can do with it. Now I know we've got Richard in chat and Bazette. They've seen this technology in the past. Well, for me, it feels different than the stuff that we used to see. That stuff felt very CRTV stuff, and I realized a lot of the stuff we were seeing looked like CRTV, but what we were seeing was on a monitor, then immediately reflected onto this display. Now, that can be changed into the holodeck. Imagine, rather than it being this thing that's just the size of a dinner plate, that it's the size of your bathroom. And you walk into that thing, and all of these constructs form up around you like the holodeck, and it tracks your movement the way that those HTC monitors do. So technically, you're not walking into the walls, and you're able to go around all this world just inside of your closet.
Like, I want that
Wow.
so bad. That is like the peak of that technology, but I also feel like the minute that is available, humanity, and not just like the West, not America, but like humanity is done. Like,
It's what,
one of the
yeah,
things,
it'd be scary. And you could be doing like The Sims. It'd just be like you're straight up The Sims at that point.
like, oh man, what was I gonna say? I don't even remember anymore. I had a really funny reference and I completely forgot it. But yes, it would just be like The Sims. Oh, that's what it was. Like, the thing that I always think about in the holodeck is there's an episode of TNG where Geordi tries to like, I think like some other crew member has like a temporary stationing on the Enterprise, and he gets to know her and he like starts falling for her. But then as the episode comes to a close, she's like, yeah, I don't think so. I'm going to go back to my ship. And he gets heartbroken. But his immediate response is like, okay, holodeck, load up program, like whatever, like to and it's a program of her. And I'm just like, you
Virtual girlfriend.
yeah, you horny little devil.
But yeah, that's
And that's
the other
what I
thing
mean.
too. Is like with AI, you'll be able to generate your next door neighbor in any shape you'd like, and have all the holodeck fun you like. You better hope it's in your closet. Not that room, not like out where anybody can walk in on you. But yeah, no, that's to old people like us, like us. I'm up in Maine. I don't see a lot of technology that isn't related to woods, water, or wildlife. And that's so when I see things like that, it's like nothing I've ever seen before. Television isn't a new invention here, but it hasn't changed much since the flat
Not
screen.
really.
So when it comes to these displays, it's intriguing to me because I don't have billboards here. Those are illegal in Maine. I don't have
they
billboards here. Yeah, they're illegal. The closest thing you're allowed to have is a one-color light-up sign. Most people just do red LEDs underneath their sign that has a backlight on it. That's a solid,
makes
just
sense.
painted sign, solid print sign.
Wow.
And that's it. So I don't even have like that stuff like blaring at me with these screens and stuff. Buildings aren't allowed to have those big displays. Like, you can do crazy things with Christmas lights, but it can't be a permanent installment like some of the hotels have, like these big advertisements of their neat beachfront property just on the front of it,
On the front of it,
That's can't do that. So like everywhere I go, I don't get this new technology to convey visual information. I get like, hey bud, we got a new way of making a lobster salad. You want to try it? And that's what we got up here. It is amazing to me to see this kind of technology that was like Marty McFly was watching a 3D television that they had to like edit in Back to the Future 3,
put it in
2,
and this one you can just
right.
play it,
And
put it on the
it's
screen.
right there. It's right there in front of you. When we were watching Batman Beyond was watching 3D television in front of him. So when I see this stuff, I'm like, this is me as a little kid, but I'm an adult now.
I mean, when they were in A New Hope, when they do the Death Star plans, that's a 3D thing where it pops it up and it keeps rotating and everybody sees.
That's what Timon was pointing out. Is it looks like the video comps of Star Wars? Yeah, you'd expect the Emperor to rise up out of there like, "Yes, Vader, bring home the pizza. I've already ordered it."
Do not subscribe to her OnlyFans. My credit card is maxed out. No,
Vader, you must stop subscribing to the OnlyFans, girls. My credit card is maxed out again.
We literally can't afford to fix the Death Star anymore because you keep spending all the money.
That's why it's unfinished in Return of the Jedi.
I'd really like to thank
E-girls really hard.
I'd really like to thank my top tipper, and it's just Vader with he's holding up a heart, like one of those construction paper hearts. Oh no, his hands. He's doing it in front of the torso light bright. So he's
This is how we defeated the Empire.
Yeah.
What do you want from me? My dick literally burned off on a lava planet because I tried to own a guy that clearly had a height advantage.
The most I can do. Just bear with me. I will simp for you.
My wife and children are dead, right? Right?
Right.
All right, Vader, here's my second credit card.
Black unlimited credit.
What the hell am I saying? I'm the Emperor. Why are we even bothering with this?
Just order it. Just give us the pictures.
Yeah, only Sith. That's the one he keeps he's subscribed to, is only Siths. And that's the one he keeps subscribing to.
No, because that makes me laugh even more. Because by the rules in canon, it's like if it's only Sith, then the only person running it, if it's not Vader, would be Palpatine. So it's just Vader.
Well, no, wait.
To Palpatine.
No, there was that whole planet of Sith, remember? And the right of the Jedi or whatever it was.
Right, yeah.
The right of the Skywalker.
Right. Yeah.
So that's where it is. Right. That's how they fund it. They sell OnlyFans. But it's only Siths, and that's how they fund this creation without the Empire knowing about it. And that's why Palpatine keeps it a secret, because it's like his gooner harem that he doesn't want anybody to know about.
No, not Palpatine having a gooner harem.
Right? And that's why he's all like gooned out on the planet, right? He's just this weird basement gooner that Rey has to deal with.
That's why he's hooked up to that like chair in Rise of Skywalker.
Right?
Because it's like,
I am all the gooners.
Yeah, I must only goon. No time for other questions.
Does that mean the trad Christians are hanging out with Rey then?
Well, or they tried to get away from her, you know, because Luke did turn into not Luke there. He turned into dirty laundry, so he did try to get away from her.
He's like, this chick sucks. I am out of here.
Like he went, like that's so weird, because like Ben did that, but then like my immediate reaction was like, Mark Hamill's gonna be naked when he shows up as a Force ghost. He lost all of his clothes.
That's a good. I kind of, when that moment happened, I was just like, this is stupid. I don't even know if I went that far. I was just like, this.
Yeah,
is
he's
so
just
dumb.
like crying into the sunset. I'm thinking, like, did Ben? Now you have to ask yourself, did Ben Kenobi die before they got to the Death Star, and he was like astral projecting, and there's just a dead corpse in a cave somewhere on Tatooine?
Yeah,
just checked out, you know. And it's like, this is really crazy, you know. This is really stupid.
It's the corpse of Obi-Wan, and then the corpse of that like camel thing he rides at the end of the Obi-Wan series. Like that's what's still left in the cave.
Right, but he's got a fork in his hand, so he clearly ate it to survive.
Right,
you know,
right.
in order to astro project himself to lose to Vader.
And that'll be your Hasbro like lab special release next year is like Cave Obi-Wan and Cave Skeleton Horse.
And there again, Luke astro projected himself, and when Obi-Wan was defeated doing that, his clothes disappeared and his clothes stayed. Remember, he collapsed into dirty laundry, right? And that's what happened to him. Now, when Luke astro projected to fight Kylo Ren, he ended up having like this, getting stabbed and blah blah blah, and it didn't hurt his clothes or anything. He was just quite literally a spirit. And then the real guy turned into dirty laundry. So what the fuck happened? Was Obi-Wan astro projecting into a bar somewhere to finish off a poker match he had going? What
no, he was still on the bar at Tatooine. That's what he was doing. He never left there.
He's clearing all of his internet search history back on Tatooine. That's what
delete everything.
Deleting everything.
Delete the holocron.
Luke, I'd love to be there with you right now, but I have 1,400 only Sith subscriptions I have to cancel before I die.
Luke, don't let them see the history, Luke.
Oh god.
Well, we've done a lot of that now. We're probably ready to end the show now before we get any deeper.
Yeah, before we all start losing our minds more than that.
It's too late. We've already gone.
Never mind.
There we go. But
there it is. There it is.
What a good mod. What a dedicated.
You'll note that he has one hand below the desk. I don't know what he's doing down there, because he was torso
actively donating as we speak.
Right. Well, he was dick down in the lava. You got to remember, if his skin was burning off, you bet his dick burnt off.
Maybe he cloned one on Vegeta. Maybe they still had his DNA, and they were like,
the Emperor was like, Vader, you're never gonna believe it. One of the clones was an exact match for your penis. We gave you Jango Fett's dick, okay?
He's not going to need it anymore anyway.
He's not going to be using it. You remember that time the black guy cut off Jango Fett's head? Well, we kept the rest of it. And as it turns out, his dick fits yours. It's like a neat little dick cozy. It's great.
That's my favorite part. You're never going to believe this, Vader.
Oh, we're going to get fired. I'm gonna get fired. I don't know about you guys, but
Oh my
Not
god.
if I have a say about it. Everybody should be getting raises.
We had a good run.
West Coast baby.
Just a blue shine coming out from underneath the The scene at the end of Return of the Jedi.
But it haunts him.
It's Yoda, and then it's just the wiener.
No, it's like Macbeth's dagger. Everywhere he goes is just a floating Force Ghost penis.
Just like over his shoulder at all times.
Oh man.
Do you think it talks to him at night like his uncle or like his dad would?
Yeah, right, exactly. That's Plagueis.
Anakin!
Oh god, this is going in a really strange direction.
Yep.
We're just looking to put a new business on the Camino property when the Empire collapses. Okay, it's happening soon. We're just trying.
There's
to
a Rule 34. Yeah, Vader's disembodied ghost penis following him around everywhere.
I just want it there. That's how you save the Marvel comics. All right, just Vader.
Oh my god.
Blue penis.
That's a great
like
use
Watchmen.
of James Earl Jones' disembodied voice. To have it talk about a ghost penis in Force Ghost therapy.
Keep James Earl Jones's voice for the wiener.
Oh my god. Kat, thank God you are not here. Your virgin ears did not need to hear
I
this.
know. I can't believe we're corrupting the youth like that. So it's probably a good opportunity for us to end the show before the FCC
That's
and
right.
everybody else gets on our butts. As always, guys, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us this last Wednesday before Christmas. I hope everybody is finishing up their holiday shopping or their Christmas shopping, whatever you'll be doing. Enjoy the season. It's a good one. As always, we will let you know what we've got going on around the horn, starting with
Miss Nerdigans.
You can catch me on my YouTube channel, Nerdigan Think, where I cover anime and manga every day. And actually, right after this, I will be covering Jujutsu no Rokunin, which I should have covered earlier. I didn't realize it came out earlier today. Well, I should have known better because Jujutsu no Rokunin comes out on Wednesdays. And I will be covering 2 chapters of Black Lagoon after this as well. And then you can also catch me on Patreon, patreon.com/packergirl, where we cover anime because I don't have to worry about YouTube giving me a copyright strike over there. So I could have everything, my full setup over there. We cover Dragon Ball Daima on Fridays and Bleach Thousand Year Blood War on Saturdays. The season finale is going to be on December 28th for Bleach, and it's going to be an hour-long season finale, and we're going to have Hashwalt versus Basby, which I'm really excited for. And this weekend is Jumpfesta, as we covered in Tokyo Happy Hour. It doesn't start on December 21st, like it says on the websites and all that. It starts on December 20th in the States.
Time Zones!
I love the time zones. You can also follow me on Twitter right here, where I'm posting all my updates and everything like that. Bounding, all my Drama Queen stuff is up there, including the exclusive interview that we talked about in Tokyo Happy Hour as well. And I gotta see if I have anything else coming. Oh yeah, and the stuff that comes out of Jumpfesta, you will be seeing articles on that for Bounding. So make sure you guys are staying tuned.
All right. Jacob, where do we find you?
Being around doing stuff and things in other nature. So go check me out on Society Reviews, YouTube, and on Twitch, and on Rumble, and on X. We got a whole bunch of things coming up. This Friday, we're going to be doing Sonic 3. It'll be our last movie review officially on the Friday Night Movie Club before we go into our year-end list, so that'll be coming up this week. Sunday, we got the Bible Lens. We're going to be talking more about Israel on the Bible Lens on the Sunday show. And then Tuesday, people asked me if I was going to do a show on Christmas Eve. Yeah, I'll do a show on Christmas Eve, and I'll make it a fun show. I'll make it a fun little Christmas nostalgia show for everyone out there, because it's like, who cares about the things that are going on in the world? We can just have fun for 2 hours. So I'm going to make it a really entertaining show for all you guys on Tuesday night. So that's what I got coming up. Oh, by the way, I'm super backlogged on movie reviews right now. I'm struggling to catch up. Hopefully I can get caught up in the next few days, but I got like 5 reviews that I need to edit. before they can be submitted writtenly. I still got like another 6 reviews that needs to be written, and then of course I got a whole bunch of video reviews coming out too. So I'm gonna try to catch up the best way I can this weekend. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. So that's all I got at the moment.
All right, man.
When you bring up the nostalgia there, or like you're gonna have a Christmas nostalgia, I don't know why the thing I thought of was like all that episodes where they did like the elf skits. Like that was when they did like every Christmas. So I'm excited for that. I will be there. As always, go check out what Nerdigans has going on. Go check it out on Bounding into Comics, where she just uploaded 2 amazing pieces, one that you're not going to find anywhere else. And then, yeah, as always, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We couldn't do this without you. We love Wednesdays. I love Wednesdays. I love seeing all of your faces, or your screen names rather. So keep on coming back. As always, check boundingintocomics.com for new news every day. I know yesterday was a little slow. I had some things pop up over here that kind of took me away, but everything's still flowing. We're still good. Boundingintocomics.com. Check it out. Next week, what do you guys want to, maybe we'll have a stream. Are we up for a stream? Maybe we'll just talk about it. I don't know yet, but we will definitely let you know, or maybe Cider knows.
That's right, I do know. We are, in fact, Christmas streaming. That's right. On Wednesday at 8 p.m., we will be going live with a Christmas special. It will be at the regular time. However, it will be special because it will be very Christmassy, more Christmassy than right now. I don't know if I'll be more Christmassy, but the show will be.
Well, feel free to tune in as well, too, on Christmas. It's just one of those years where Hanukkah and Christmas falls on the same day.
You're going to get us taken down. Oh, my gosh.
So yeah, we're going to do Hanukkah too. So if you're willing to celebrate Hanukkah with us as well as Christmas, we'll have like a Hanukkah Christmassy kind of show going on here. And, where Jacob wanted to take care of some stuff on his show where they have more festive things. You've seen us play a couple games on here before. I do have games in mind that we can play here. It doesn't require downloading anything. And maybe we can have the chat participate with us as well if we can find a lobby to hold everybody. We'll find out next week, same time, same place. We will be talking probably more about just whatever comes to mind, no structure, just sort of as it goes. But until next week, that is the end of the stream, and we wish you all a wonderful weekend and good luck out there.